I want to see which one of you gets here first. You beat you. He's in.
Where is it?
Where is what? Wait, no, did you send him the thing? I thought didn't you send it to him?
Here it is. I found it. I think I found it.
Oh, okay.
He thinks he found it.
No,
He thinks.
hang on, I'm still on. Well, that's the phone, isn't it? That's the WhatsApp. I've got to get off the WhatsApp.
Oh, right, yeah. How did he do that, though?
Okay.
Well, how did you jump in? How did you just jump in so quickly, though, like that?
Well,
because you were on your phone. You were on your phone, right? You were on your phone.
I sent it to him on his Instagram as well. Hopefully he can see it.
Oh, no, he's coming in. I want to know how you got in like that.
Easy peasy, my friend. Easy peasy, you know.
I'm just checking.
Good evening.
And also,
man.
Good evening. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to hopefully we should be working out how we're going to take this from audio to video, so you can see our smiling faces and our rough, unshaven chins.
That was random as you like. I love it.
It sounded a bit too. Anyway, yeah. Let's not concentrate on it.
Let's not concentrate.
Only Marius had to go down there, though. Only Marius had to go. That sounded a bit, and I knew what he's talking about. Look at that. You see? You can't even say anything now about Marius walking down that pathway, skidding off the path.
What can you do with an immigrant, man? Immigrant is an immigrant. He doesn't get it.
Goes, look, with his victim mentality.
Victim mentality again. We've got to bring out that little violin concerto.
Come on, let me have it for at least a second. Don't kill it straight away. Oh, shit.
So have we officially started then? Have we said hello to everybody?
And we haven't officially started. We just said hello.
Let's begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another edition of the House of Lords. Intro to Love and Light. The episodes continue. My colleagues that join me today is the indomitable Marius.
Yeah.
And the extra larger than life, Carl.
How do you do? Larger than life. Large. How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the House of Lords. And obviously, don't forget yourself there.
And myself, Ian. We are the House of Lords. And
I was going to say, right, they've kind of caught us off cuff, haven't they, really? Because, like always, ladies and gents, you know that we mention it, right? But we was having a good old conversation prior. It was only meant to be a quick sort of like call to what we're going to explore and everything else. And we didn't even touch upon any of that, right? We had about a 45-minute conversation, right? Maybe an hour, maybe. What's the time?
5 minutes. There's never such a thing with us. 5 minutes conversation.
5 minute conversation. It might work.
About all kinds of stuff, and one of the things that we were discussing was
the pacification of man.
I'll say it.
The
pussification of the male species in the West. It's been said. Yeah, it's been said.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Now, ladies and gents, you're going to hear a mixed kind of vocabulary from myself this evening, but you're absolutely right. It is, as George Carlin put it, isn't it? It's the pussification of men, and
yes, it is.
And I can imagine to a woke audience that it sounds inflammatory, doesn't it? And they can be triggered and offended, right? But if you look at the state of the world at the minute, right? Where's the fuck? I tell you, the people that are leading the fucking show on this at the minute that are showing men how to be men to stand up against tyranny, right? And it's the farmers.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I know it's a wild comparison, right? But if these are people that grow your food, you know, and look after your food. And without the farmers, no one eats, right? And we're allowing a mad-like occult, right? Group of individuals, unelected for all sense of purposes, forcing the will of humanity to conform to their whim, to this new idea. I mean, they're changing the very fabric of society, but it's been a long drawn out process. They had to go through this pussification of men. So men are now growing breasts and all the rest of it, but that takes us down another rabbit hole of sensitivities where people are triggered because you can't talk about the fucking facts of what we're seeing in this world without somebody going, well, no, if you go use Google, and I'll tell you about Google, right? I got sent a book title the other day. Well, it weren't the other day, it was this morning actually, right? And I tried to find it, just a simple Google search, quick Safari, you know, through the iPad, through the phone, right? Could I find the PDF version of this book anywhere, right? Change search engine, straight to top.
There you go.
And that's what we're seeing, a proper control of the narrative, to people are being exposed to lies and fictitious propaganda. And go on.
No, can I hold the brakes a little bit, because I think we already gone like 1,000 miles an hour already, and I want to slow down a little bit and just to pose a question first before we get to this point where we're today, right? So we can explore it a little bit. So the question is, how did we get here to this point? And if we relate to our lifetime, in order to address it, and how each one of us have seen the changes. So that's the question. How did we get here?
Well, I touched upon this, I think, in a couple of episodes ago, where people have been distracted to the reality of this world. People have no interest in politics. You know, they don't care who governs them. They're more interested in the new Prada, the new Balenciaga, the paedophile brand, and all of these other kind of celebrity gory things that they think add value to life. People identify through their trinkets because it's been thrust through them. Things that I've observed just on the television, for instance. You know, nanny ain't gonna be happy at Christmas if you ain't got a new table, right? Yeah. Just simple little things like that make those that can't afford those things think less of themselves. So people strive and run themselves into early graves trying to keep up with the Joneses just to feel some self-worth. So they're distracted. They're caught up in this fucking nonsense rat race of acquiring things, as opposed to looking who's running the show, who's governing what, who's dictating to you. And you could certainly say that that's how we got here, being manipulated through the television to identify through material worth.
So the television, it's one thing. One thing that I also bring to the table is the fact that over the last, I'll say, at least 30 years, it may be 40, because I'm close to 50, but I'm just saying over the observation of the last 30 years. And the reason I say 30 is because I want to exclude the period where Romania was still under communism, so it was a totally different reality. So I want to include the opened up and started to see it totally different. But in the last 30 years, there's been a lot of new laws and rules and things that kind of stop the community from stepping in when they seen something happen, because they will be punished by law. Did you guys observe that happening?
Well, so what I've observed, is that in my younger years, and it probably helps that I was in the UK, in my younger years, there was a thing called discipline. And discipline was something that the discipline is completely different to abuse. So let's just get that clear. There's so many people that when you say discipline, that's abuse. No, it's not. Shut up. Let's just be clear. Discipline, right, is not abuse. They're two completely different words. So let's everybody get that straight.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there was actual discipline that was allowed to be administered by a caring father, by a caring male in the community. If you were young and loutish on the street and you're shouting outside somebody's house as you're walking down the street, somebody will come out of their door and ask you why you're making so much noise. Because they've come in from a night shift and they're working and they're sleeping. And you got to pay attention to those types of things, and you don't need to be shouting. And back in the day, most people didn't go and turn around and then be rude back to the adult. It was normally yes sir, or yes ma'am, or sorry miss, and then you were silent. And normally you'd hear things like, I know your parents. And even if that sounded like a fib at the time, and you thought, how's that even possible? When you got home, you realised that they did know your parents. Because you're being disciplined, because you were told, when you're outside, don't make noise, don't embarrass us. So when a neighbour tells your mum something, next thing you know, my dad is hearing about it and I'm getting disciplined. And there was a lot of that. So men were men. Women were safe. Women felt protected. They felt they had a counterpart that stood up, that protected the perimeter of the home as they took care of the inner things, the nurturing of the children. So
wait till your dad gets home.
Here you go. I heard that many a time, and that was a cartoon that I used to watch as well. And yeah, so for me, that's what I've seen over the last 40 years disappeared. It started to slowly but surely faded out, and I can pinpoint, and I'll close with this, I can pinpoint where I feel it began to be eroded was when I was told I could no longer call the blackboard a blackboard. When I was in school, and I was told, no, you can't call that blackboard anymore. And I'm looking at the people, scratching my head, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, but there's a board on the wall. It's in front of the class and it's actually black. But you're telling me that that's not a blackboard. I'm supposed to call it a chalkboard. I just carried on calling it a blackboard until I got to chalk. I just got it stupid. And because that's what I see. That's what I saw. I didn't see, yeah, it's on the blackboard. What? It's on the blackboard. Or Robin Redbreast. We weren't allowed to say Robin Redbreast for some odd reason, or you weren't allowed to say Barbara Black Sheep for some odd reason. So that, to me, was the start of when all that stuff is the beginning of the erosion. Okay.
So they use the fact that there's certain kids that may have been abused, right? And there is certain racial discrimination, and that's been used in a way to manipulate people and putting people in. It's interesting. It's like getting the power of the community off the strong voices of the community, where it was a lot more safer because of those strong voices, right? But that power got taken away by these rules and laws that now you were committing an offense, right?
Based upon the sensibilities.
And is the proxymoron to that, right? Well, it's not proxymoron, but it certainly adds to the points that are bring forward, right? While that was going on, new laws were being put forward and people being prosecuted for protecting themselves in their own home. Then it started to get to the case where the burglar or the intruder or the robber could actually sue you, right, if they were injured in some way, right, through your protecting and fighting for your property or your stuff, or even
Wasn't
your
there a
life.
big court case in England about a guy that shot?
There's been lots. There was one man, right? I remember this reading this story. It was an old boy that used to make remote control planes and stuff like that, right? Out in his shed, right? His lovely garden, you know, quintessentially English country garden type thing, right, with his shed, right? And his shed kept getting burgled into, right? And he had cameras. And he caught the footage, this, that, and the other, because, you know, there's a scarf or a hat and this, that, and the other. So the police can't do nothing, which they hardly ever do, right? And so he put a small charge. He put an alarm on it and he put a small charge on the handle, right? When I say a charge, like an electric shock. Yeah. You know, just like a farmer would keep his cattle in an enclosed area, right? An electric fence. So he just electrified the shed, and then basically he got sued by the burglar who injured himself while trying to burgle into the man's house. Right? And
Sorry,
then
I'm
you
laughing,
had
but
the
it's
farmer.
just ridiculous.
Then you had the farmer that was broken into, right? And whatever. And you know, the farmer shot the intruder, right? And the court case was, well, he had his back and he was going down the stairs, if my memory serves.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah,
right?
That's the one.
And it's like, I don't care if he was walking fucking on his hands doing cartwheels down the stairs. He's getting it. What's he doing in my house? What happens to an Englishman's home in his castle?
Exactly.
Right, and so you've got all of those draconian measures, right? And you've got to understand that the state uses the least among us, right, to control the rest, right? So you have, right, since the dawn of time, right? If you go back to Cain and Abel, for instance, for some fucking biblical reference, right? There's been murder, there's been jealousy, there's been adultery, right? There's been war, right? It's an impunction within some human beings to commit atrocities. That doesn't mean that these people are necessarily bad. They've just done a bad thing, right? But let's say some egregious act takes place by an individual, right? This individual obviously needs some fucking mental help because he's tapped, right? And he does this egregious act. Now, instead of treating that as an isolated incident, what we've seen over the years, over the decades, right, is it being fanned up into a state of hysteria by the mainstream media. And then the politicians start talking about, and they say, oh, there must be new laws. And those laws now affect everybody, right? But what happened? Once upon a time, right, there was this thing called mob justice. It ain't right, but if you give society, right, just enough lineage, right, to bring back, oh, listen, you outstepped your fucking place and you got slapped. Yeah. Right? And you touched upon sort of like, you know, you were disciplined. Let's have it right. You know, a stranger who caught you on the estate acting like a twat, at the least they could grab you by the arm and rag you back to your parents, or at least rag you around on the spot and make you feel like a little rag doll. Yeah. Right? Because you were acting up. Yeah. Right? On the flip side, you could get another neighbour that does know your parents that'll come down and give you a slap.
Exactly.
Like, no, let's speak in a language that people understand. They would put hands on your face, they would slap you, and you would realise that you're a child and you're being demonstrous. Do you know what I mean? You're being a little prick, you're being a little shit, right? And you were held accountable for it.
Exactly.
And that taught men that there are consequences to our actions. This is why men govern themselves around men in that way, because no matter what society makes, whatever rules it tries to frigging comfort everybody illusionary, right? Men know innately that if we overstep the mark with one another, it's going to result in blows. Right. Right? So that gives a man a certain amount of comprehension on how he should conduct himself around other groups of men.
There you go. Simple stuff, man. Simple stuff.
And society acts like that isn't part of human nature.
Well, it is.
And it is.
It is. If you look at every other male species, if you look at the big cats, the big dogs, you know, they govern in the same way. You know, there's a certain hierarchical scenario. There's a certain respect. Somebody gets out of line and it's dealt with.
You're absolutely right. And I wanted to go on from that, right? Because you bring in the nature bit, right? In any kind of animal kingdom that is kind of predatory, has some form of society, never in its creation will it let the dumbest, the weakest rule.
You.
It just wouldn't, right? There is a species on the planet that lets the imbecile rule the fucking pack. But here we are. What conundrum the species finds itself in.
Oh my gosh. Sorry for laughing so loudly, but I'm sorry, but yeah. That's the bit that's got me too.
Well, so what would be the answer for? Because there are people that say, yeah, but we are more intelligent than the animals, the other animals.
Are you really?
The animal kingdom.
No.
I'm not saying that, but you have those individuals that are like, yeah, but we're not those animals. We're more intelligent.
Really? I would say really. Prove it. Prove to me that you're more intelligent than those big animals. Let's prove to me that you're more intelligent than the grizzly bear. Prove it. Okay, forget the grizzly. Prove to me that you're more intelligent than the otter. There you go. Something small to start with. Go on. Let's see how far you get. Let's see how far you get. Come on.
I love this idea of the otter playing chess.
Oh, that's a good one.
because the bottom line is that no, if you've been soaked in society, if you've been soaked in Western society, if I'm specific, you haven't got a chance against the otter. As for the grizzly bear, pointless. Just pointless even having the conversation. That's my take on it. Thank you. And I'm staying quiet.
You do bring to the table those, like, some, even myself, I have to admit, yes, I bring to the table some rather harsh points of views, but they are realities nevertheless, right? And we're talking about intelligence, and we keep seeing across social media. I saw the World Health Organization, Mr. Hot Pants in glasses. I can't remember his name. The whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Right,
Geezer.
Mr. Hot Pants.
Geezer, yeah.
Yeah. Right, well, he turned around and I've heard him quote that they're really trying to clamp down on social media posts, and people should be arrested for sharing. This is what he said, for sharing media. Right? So that's what we're coming to, right? And it got me thinking about the mainstream media and the general consensus of do you know what? I feel reluctant to say that, because I'm watching a very great change. Mind you, it may be one-sided, because I don't have much to do with people that don't kind of speak or think along the lines of us in this instance. But I'm certainly seeing the more conversations I have, people being very aware of the nonsense that's rolling out around us.
Here's what I find.
Going back to this intelligent thing, right? Going back to this intelligent thing, and we go into the realms of conspiracies. The mainstream media is coming down, the World Health Organization are coming down, the UN are trying to come down on it, all this kind of social media posts, to the point I'm seeing news articles that one of these wars that are taking place, one side in this war are looking to cut the internet, go for these underwater cables that supply the West's internet, etc. Right. So it just makes me laugh, because then it brings about more of their dystopian madness. And the thing that gets me when we're talking about intellect now, it's like the conspiracies are 100-0. It's ridiculous. And the conspiracy now for me is, right, that people still think that the government's got their best intentions at heart. People still think that the pharmaceutical industry is there to help, and people still think that NATO is there to keep peace. that to me is the conspiracy now, given all the information that's out there in the world, right? The idea that people are still bought into this horse shit, because that's what it is. It's a theatrical show that has been weaved over everybody's imaginations, and so many have bought into it. But like I said at the beginning of the show, love the farmers, because the farmers are doing it everywhere. Right, they're doing it. They're opposing the World Health Organization. They are opposing these United, the UN rules about the taxation and just the bare liberties that they're taking. Basically, they want to get rid of the tax breaks, tax cuts that farmers get on their fuels and stuff. Right. It's just absolutely insane. And then you look at the cobalt mining, the mineral mining in Africa, and they're trying to push. Everybody's going to have an EV vehicle, and it's like, really? There's not a single country on the fucking planet that has the infrastructure right to convert to that.
No, the only countries that have the infrastructure for the EV, the driverless, this, that, and the other and stuff is Dubai, because they built it that way. They started with that in mind. It's not like here where you got to transfer. I mean, if you go there, they've got all of that, and it all works properly, seamlessly. Teslas are cabs that you can get in, and you do a touch. You get in the car, right? The car pulls up, doors open by themselves. No fucker in there. You get in, door closes, and on the window is a heads-up display of your destinations, just like a tube underground map. And then you hit the spot, boom, and away you go. There's flying cars that are now working. They've got flying cabs now that work in little cars. They launched, I think, at the beginning of this year. It's all gone ahead, because I've been watching all of that stuff.
Don't get me wrong, right? I'm naive, obviously, and I admit my naivety to the whole kind of infrastructure in Dubai. But don't get me wrong, I'm far from blind to the technology that's available.
Right.
And they're saying, these individuals, tech giants, that 2024 is going to be the year of the machine, the year of AI, right? So we're going to be seeing just a massive change, and that change is being militantly enforced by a group of unelected individuals that have agreed to an idea and have hoodwinked nations of the world to agree to an idea of 2030, Agenda 2030.
Yeah, have they hoodwinked everybody?
There's 192 countries that have signed up to it.
Now I got a question. Did what's his face sign up to it? Did the actual one, not the installed.
Carl, when you say that 192 countries have signed up, one thing that is like, is it the 192 country that sign up, or in 192 country they have someone that infiltrated kind of position of power?
You're right. There
it's
you
just,
go.
Yeah.
Let's be accurate. Let's be accurate.
As we're seeing in England, right? Because there's loads of county councils that have signed up to this 15-minute kind of cities and all the rest of it, right? And there's been meetings, obviously, the council meetings in various boroughs, and it's put to the committee, and the committee turned around and said, no, we don't want none of that. No, we don't want none of that. And they've gone ahead and done it anyway. So it's obviously a decision that's coming from the top, not from the bottom. This is what you're going to be doing. But people are too concerned with the tax, the abs, which is ridiculous because I'm covered in them, right? And the tan and Jersey Shore and Love Island and all the other TV drama.
Right. Well, yeah, England's changed, isn't it?
When you say Dubai,
I think it's so many places.
When you say Dubai, and you look at these movies where they paint this picture of the future cities and all that. somewhat Dubai look like that city, that country of the elite, where they will be living in this so-called illusion of being in that future already because of technology that's being developed and that's being used in that particular country, right? Now, especially now, because it's they I think was it last month or something, I saw an advert where you don't need a visa to go to Dubai. You can do a questionnaire. They can quickly say you're allowed or not allowed to come. Just bang to Dubai. And I'm questioning why all of a sudden they want to take more people in Dubai. What is that for?
Well, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, sorry, go ahead.
No, well, what I was going to say, right, is that what people fail to comprehend, right, that I speak on the point of the government here in the UK, right? Now, the government, by buying in onto himself, or especially members of parliament, right, they don't have no real power. The decision made by local councils, right? And, you know, we talked about the whips and everything else. You know, no one's supporting a policy. They seldomly read what's being put forward. It's they're waiting for a response for a particular individual. It's all this facade. But what you must realise, right, that the reality and into itself, even this life that we're experiencing, as it is a global thing, right, it's a financial wild west, right? Money, fundamentally, this idea of money, right, this is what gives people the ability to live in a really different place, right? It can change the very paradigm and your view of the world, right? Yeah. So let's say that they're right now. I mean, we discussed in an episode, or I mentioned in an episode, about local communities where everybody's got a jet and the jets are on the drive like you would park your car, right? There's when you talk about Dubai, right? It's a country that fundamentally doesn't drink. It's there's various taboos within the indigenous of Dubai, right? So their money gets invested within Dubai. You know, they're not necessarily like the West, where we're at drinking, smoking, doing drugs, and all the rest of it. Right? But it's given that illusion that everybody in Dubai is rich, and that is not the fucking case at all. No. Right? What you see is the playground of millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah.
Right? And it's so far removed, that life is so far removed than the people growing up on a council estate, that it's different worlds. You know, if you're the third, fourth generation of a multi-billionaire or a multi-millionaire, a multi-millionaire family, and there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of them, right, that are just ridiculously rich, not in comparison to that 1%, right, but still ridiculously rich. And they have a playground. They have their own kind of way of doing things. And like I said, if you're the third, fourth generation of a family like that, right, you're gonna have no clue. That's what world is. Oh, doesn't everybody have a yacht? But doesn't everybody have 7 properties in the business in the Bahamas and do what they want? No, they fucking don't. Right? That's not to say that anybody can't do what they want. The moment you invest into yourself and you start to develop, yes, you can change the perceptions of your reality, right? But in this instance, let's not ignore the elephant in the room, that there was this tier system within the world's populace that kept kind of things cool and moving, right? Which was that class system, you know, the working class personalities, the people that work for people, you know, they just want to work for people, want to buy a house, go and cut holidays, just want to work. Right? And then you have the people that go, do you know what, I want to own a business. Yeah, I want to own a business. So they get a business and they got staff of 300, right? You know, they're doing all right for themselves, and the world's full of people like that. Absolutely full of people like that, workers and leaders, right? And that goes up and up and up into this giant pyramidal structure, right, where the money and influence, right, those levels get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's all part and parcel of it. Those at the top of these kind of the top tiers of this pyramid have no real comprehension of the council estates. They have no real idea of what it's like fucking go from 1 month to 1 month, paycheck to paycheck. It's fucking alien. And like I brought to the table before, I'll give you an idea, right? What was it? Biden came into office with a net worth of, I think it was 27,000 or something like that as a fucking politician, right? But when he got into office, he had a net worth of 10 million. Where he is now, it's like, what is it, 100 or something million he's worth, right? Yeah. It's like, come on, mate, what are you up to?
Yeah.
But that's not an isolated incident.
Do you think he invested? Do you think he invested on a farmer?
What a surprise, mate. Right? But you take into account English politicians, right? Practically, when every politician leaves fucking office, they're a millionaire. But how are you doing that, mate? Because your salary don't cover that.
Yeah, are you a millionaire?
And then you take into look at the current prime minister. The current prime minister, right, is worth in cash terms, right? In cash terms, he's got more money than King Charles, right?
What?
He's worth 750 odd million.
How come? Who is this person?
Sadiq Khan, right? And he took a job for what? 85,000? I can't know, 75,000, I think, 100,000, whatever it is. So what are you doing? What are you up to? Right, you're friends with those people that are at the top that go on holidays whenever they fucking want and they have an idea. So you put in and spent some money, and now you're prime minister to bring about the fucking ideas at the playground that the other ones want to think of, because they're eradicating that tier system.
You're talking about the London mayor Sadiq Khan. I'm thinking that you because you're saying prime minister. I was like, I'll get it.
Oh well, no, yeah, the prime minister, which is
the prime minister
Rishi
is
Sunak.
not Sadiq.
Sorry,
Rishi Sunak.
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak. The reason why I mentioned what was Sadiq Khan as well, he's just trying to put a bill forward, right, to backdoor everybody in London, right, where they've got to pay £1 a mile to drive their car.
Pay £1 a mile to drive the very car that. Do you know what? Done. Go away. Just done. That's the stupidity. Done.
But
No. You literally.
They've been having this idea for the last 10 years. You know.
That's stupidity.
All right, yeah, but 10 years ago we would have said people like walking about with dicks and tits, right, that were clearly a bloke was fucking stupid. But now here we are, aren't we?
I mean, it's just the most ridiculous form of gouging, of keeping that flow, the money going back into the system way more than it does right now. That is upon everything else. So you drive £1 a mile. Also, you pay for your road tax. You're paying for your insurance. Really? Your MOT and stuff, and then everywhere you go, you're going to pay £1 just to go something. You know what? Fuck off.
Yeah, in London, no, you can get stuff, right? But this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can see what's going on, right?
Of course.
Right now, when you look at I'm going to bring it full round, right? We're going to come into the CDBCs, central digital bank currency. Right. Now, if you actually look how that's going to be rolled out, that in itself is going to be rolled out in a tier system where working class individuals have a savings up to how much pounds, right, or how much money's depending on your country where you are, right? Mm-hmm. You'll get a universal based income of around 1,800 whatever, right? And the multi-millionaires, well, they'll have a bit more. They'll have a few more stuff, right? They've got a few more perks, right? Now, the multi-billionaires, apparently, they're going to be processed last because it's going to be a lot trickier. Yeah. But when it's all converted, they can still pretty much purchase and spend and go where they want.
Right.
And it's all in black and white.
Right.
And to get to that system, you need to see the erosion of society and what we're witnessing now, because it's a complete change of the very fabric on the way human beings
have lived,
interact and have lived.
Yeah, totally.
This is why we're seeing a blackout by world's media of what's going on. Right. But anybody that's doing a bit of due diligence and searching lines and looking at alternative news sources where you're getting actual footage of what's going on in the world, right? You can see that there is a very, very visceral pushback.
Right.
To what's going on.
Right.
And
So that's-
rightly
it's
so. And rightly
interesting.
so.
No, that's
Carl,
interesting.
it's interesting you bring this up because I actually had a discussion tonight with someone about the CBDC.
Mhm.
And the block stance was like, I don't know why people are scared of the CBDC, because we're already controlled anyway. And I'm like, okay, that's a fair point. We are already controlled. The thing is, can the CBDC take it further? And he was like, what do you mean by that? I said, okay, so are you aware that this digital currency can be programmed? Yeah, okay. So what do you understand that by being programmed means it also can expire? They can put an expiry date on it. If you don't use it, you lose it. And also they can program that you are only allowed to buy so and so. So if they decide that you can only eat crickets, you're only gonna eat crickets. Are you okay with that? And the guy was like, "Oh, I didn't think like that." I'm like, "Okay, so what was your stance at the beginning? Saying, oh, why are people scared of the CBDC? Well, why don't you look deeper into it to see what's the potential of that currency? I mean, what can be done with it?" And when I asked also, but have you heard about the 15 mini cities? He said, what do you mean? What's the 15 mini city? I said, well, go on a golf, the HMRC.gov, go in a search engine and just type in 15 mini cities and you'll find out because it's there. He said, it can't be there. I said, well, you do the search. Don't believe me. You don't have to trust me. I'm just a nobody, in your eyes, but just go and do the research. So,
Go on.
Yeah, go on. Go on,
I was going to say, just to add to that, because it's a great point that you bring to the table, especially looking at HMRC, right? Go check it out on there. And for all intents and purposes, it might even be on .gov, right?
It is,
now,
I think, on .gov.
Yeah, right. So here's the thing about the 1,800, 1,700, whatever a month, right? You can't roll that over. Now, let that sink in. That don't roll over. If you spend it, cool. If you don't, cool, because next month you get an extra fresh 1,800. Not on top of, it just goes back to 1,800. So if you try to put that out on a blanket of society, right, nobody in the working classes then can ever fucking aspire to go any further unless you've got obviously something great to offer fucking the world. And even then, you are nothing more than a pawn in some corporation created by these fuckers at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the incentive?
No.
We're here in England at the minute. Come and join the army because we're going to bring back national service. Right now, I've served in the military, but I'm going to take this stance. You can get the fuck. What are you asking people to do? You're fucking over people, left, right, and centre. You couldn't give a shit about the homeless. You couldn't give a shit about the old veterans that are homeless. You couldn't give a shit about anybody here. Fundamentally, the National Health Service is on life support. A housing crisis is in dire straits, right? And yet you're putting people up in hotels and giving them X amount of pounds. Hundreds of thousands of individuals, left, right, and centre. You're putting over the very bread and butter that pay their taxes, and yet now all of a sudden, right? What should I say? Even before we get to now, all of a sudden, right? You're indoctrinating the kids. You're sterilizing. You're propagandizing. You're locking people up for their social points of view and their observations. You're trying people and taking them to court on sharing misinformation and disinformation. But when it actually comes to the prosecution, you charge them with malinformation. Here's the play on words. Malinformation is actually information that's true that a group of individuals don't want the general populace to know about. This, and then you turn around and say, join the army, come fight for us in a war that we've created because we don't like these other people that can see the bullshit just like I've explained.
And quickly, Carl, because that will have to be addressed. It doesn't have to, but it's been presented to me like there will be people saying, what's that got to do with the original discussion of the pussification of man?
Because they ain't joining, darling. Have you seen the social media post about these individuals that are hearing about inscription? It's like, I don't know what you're going to make me do while I'm doing my nails. It's like, I ain't wearing it. Put me in pink camouflage, right? And I want a pink gun, and then maybe I'll fight, right? And I heard this fella, right? I don't know if he was a comedian or anything. He went, yes, that's a great idea. Do that. Do that. Put them out there, and we'll see how long we do, right? And here's the thing about asking this country to go to war to fight a fucking country: the pussification of men. We're going to see some strong men present themselves, right? Because they're going to turn around and say, "Oh, fuck off." Not a chance, right? Because let's have a look at the stats. Let's have a look at the real fucking stats. The UK has a fighting force of about 75,000 fucking troops, right? 80,000 troops, right? It has a few hundred jets. It has a fucking 100 and something tanks, and it has half a dozen bits of artillery popped here and there, a couple of nuclear submarines, an aircraft carrier or two, but not much really. Small little island, small little army. Doesn't have that global influence and world domination that it once did, right? And you want to go to war with an army that could go to war with China for 100 years, and both of them still have troops left over. Both of these countries have got an army over 1 million strong.
Yeah, and you're trying to go there.
And you want to go there.
Yeah, nah, stupid.
And every day, practically, Putin's saying, "I want to stop this war. Let's stop this because the killing's got to die." But now his tone's slightly changing. He said, "You know what? You lot need to wake up." I implore anybody actually go listen to some of the Russian kind of interviews where the world's speaking, or the countries that will speak with are speaking to him in the press conferences, and listen to what the man says. Listen to what the man says. You'll be fucking surprised.
Nah. You see, because I did my research already, and the patterns became so apparent to me. So apparent, right? When I saw certain relationships that were positive, and I'm like, interesting. How come he gets on with him? We go digging a little bit deeper when they both love their countries. Well, I get yourself from a politician's point of view. Okay, but let's just have a look at Putin for a minute. Okay, so when I look at these leaders, Putin's the one who's like, he's the governor. I mean, when you're ex-KGB, I mean, hello, does everybody? That's why when I hear people talk, I'm like, you know something? Let me just say something. Shut up. That's all I've got to say to you. If I hear people mouthing off and say, "Oh, Putin's this," I say, shut up. Shut up. Do you know what training does at all? No? Discipline? No. None of that. None of that means anything to you. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, out of all of them,
but discipline does exist in the dictionary nowadays? I don't know. Is it still a word?
It's probably been rubbed out. Or something else, some other name. It's called something else now, mate. You know,
it probably has a different definition.
Of course, they've added some soft
redirectional training.
There you go, redirectional training. There you go, discipline. There you go, redirectional training. Look at that. Look at it. It's like I said, England prevailed. You know, V for Vendetta. You know, we're here. You know, what did my brother turn around to me and say back in the day? Because the only thing that came out of China was the totalitarian regime. And I was like, there you go. That's it. You know, and now everybody's jumping on board. You know, and you've got America. It's happening in America, and nobody's even saying anything. And we're just watching. They're just watching it.
It's interesting here in the West, and I even posed this question to the guy that I had a discussion about the CBDC. I said, listen, if you have never experienced the communist regime or that sort of regime, would you know that you live in one? Because if you're softly introduced and you been brought up under the idea that you are in a democratic country, but slowly it's a softer way of introducing this kind of tyrannical government or governance of the country, would you be able to recognize? It's like the story with the frog in the water, right? When you start to boil the water, right?
Yeah. It
kind of gets to that point. And personally, because I grew up in one, you know, being privileged to be Romanian, and born in the 70s, and communism, well, apparently apparently, I'll say apparently because it's so apparent, apparently got brought down in 1989 in the revolution.
You did?
And then suddenly communists disappear, but there is a new name called Social Democrats. Anyway, what am I saying here? But the thing is, right?
Mhm.
That's one thing that when I came over to UK and what I've observed over the last 2 decades is that there is a lot of rights that the English people used to have that are slowly being taken away, just one by one.
So tell me something.
You can't oblivious.
So tell me something. Oh, actually, let me take this moment to pause and mention a little something. So, this friend of mine, Vanessa, right, Vanessa Elston, she champions and is part of this group that champions this quantum card, right? It's a quantum healing and alignment and resonance card, right? And you, for example, if you're drinking water, you pour the water in. You can put the glass. You can pour the water over the card as it goes into the water. You can do that with the shower if you want. You can put it under the shower real quick, as it goes over you. Like that, you can wave it over your food, wave it over your drinks and stuff like that. You can put it under your pillow and sleep with it at night, right? You can put it in your pocket, put it inside your wallet. All your cards are protected. No one can spike your card with a digital reader, right? And she's been doing a lot of work on the frequency stuff, and I wanted to bring it up and say, yeah, I actually had a moment where I tweaked. Actually, you guys saw me, man. I tweeted when we did the video calls, and I was hobbling around like an old man, right? I tweaked out the back, yeah. So that particular night, gentlemen, I lay down in the bed and I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. And I took the card and I put it right where it hurt my back, the small of my back, base of my back, right there. And I laid on my bed and I lay like that all night. I woke up the next day, I sat up. I was like, what? I sat up and got out of bed, nothing hurt. And I was like, wait, normally when I tweak my back, it takes a few days for it to finally be stable. And no, dude, I woke up the next day. I literally sat up, looked at the card, I looked at it, and I was like, huh? And I started walking in my bedroom, because when I walked into bed, it was hurting to get into bed. When I got out, and I started my day, and I was like, wait a minute, really? And it was weird. I could get this sense that my body knew where the pain was, but it had changed, and it was like, hey, we're not used to this, but okay, yeah. So I would definitely, for anybody who wants to find out about these quantum cards, I suggest that you go to www.vanessaelston.com. Check them out. And I've sent over a little message about the boys. The boys are interested and stuff, and I sent over a message to the boys, and I'm sure I'm going to be getting a response shortly. But yeah, that's VanessaElston.com. Your quantum healing cards. The way of the future, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the gentlemen, and back to my colleagues.
Yeah, just I'm going to bring a quick example, right? An example that I've been using because it's a simple example and something that actually happened here in UK, right? And we are in the UK, which is one of the most democratic countries in the world, right? So it's recognized for it. Even though, I'm going to say it this way, I'm going to bring in smoking ban, right? I know people will be like, yeah, but smoking is bad. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna go there. But I'm gonna explain it from a point of a democratic country, from democracy, right? For people having the right to choose, right? So leaving aside all these health aspect, because everyone is gonna jump on a health aspect, I usually do. I'm like, no, let's take that away, right? Because even if you go on a health aspect, you can talk about different meats, you can talk about different kind of fishes and all sorts of things that, you know, if you eat too much salmon, that's going to be bad for your heart. There's so many studies that have been done. So let's leave the health aspect away, right? Because it's about the choices as being democratic, having a choice, right? So if I remember right, I think it was around 2006. I don't know if you guys can help me with that. Because I think it was around 2006 when the smoking ban was put in place, wasn't it? I can't remember exactly, but it was around that time,
Yeah.
right? And I remember being here in UK. I remember, you know, certain pub owners having, you know, complaining about it and having a bit of a protest. It's like, you know, I want to have my pub open for the smokers. You know, it's my pub. I want to have it for the smokers. And the interesting thing is they were not allowed to have it open for their smoking customers. Now, if this is the most democratic country, as a pub owner, wouldn't be their right to have their pub open to both customers, for smokers and no smokers? Maybe to do a split, like in half, like they did in certain, if you go in Europe, certain countries, that's what they did. They put a split in the restaurant, and they have a smokers and non-smokers, where you can choose where you want to sit to have your dinner, or, you know, to have your drink. Why in the UK this was not allowed if it's a democratic country?
Well, what does democracy actually mean? Is it not? Is it not mob rule?
I'll give an example there, Yanni, and it was great because the whole smoking ban, I think that was, again, one of the European Union's little wet childs, right? Or something along them lines. And they tried to roll it out in France. And I remember so many kind of stories and memes. I think they really were quite memes back then, but that kind of thing where France were like, "What, smoking ban? Fuck off."
Yes.
And nobody listened.
Exactly.
We ain't doing that. You ain't telling us to do that. So try and force it, right?
It's wise.
I haven't been to France for a while, so I don't know now. But yeah, they said this thing, and a lot of people in England kind of just buckled because of the pressure, right? But while I was hearing you lot talk, I got to thinking, you know, right? You got to understand, a lot of Parliament back in its heyday, old money, was the breweries.
Yeah.
Right? Was the breweries.
Yeah.
Now, the breweries started to sort of like, as the years went on, we're becoming problematic because we congregated in the pubs.
Yeah.
Right? And if there was a problem in the pubs, you get one police car turn up with a couple of cops, depending on the pub. You know, you need a couple of units.
Yeah.
To turn up, right?
Yeah.
This is our pub. What are you doing here? Jog on.
Yeah.
And we can't have that, you see, right? We can't have that. So the breweries, right, that are in chains and high fives and in bed with the supermarkets, right? Well, they started panking their super beers in the supermarkets, didn't they? Instead of sort of like a pint in the pub for £4, £5, depending on where you are, right? You could go to Asda and all these other supermarkets, right? And you could buy a crate.
Yeah.
For the cost of two pints in the pub.
Yeah.
Right? So it started to get everybody sort of like, oh, fuck them, then we'll build a garden bar. Remember the TV commercials? Okay, what we can do, we can make them have these little ice houses, right? They can get their little gazebo, they can get their little pop-up bars in the garden, and they're still buying our stuff, right?
Yeah.
But now there isn't the gatherings, you see.
Yeah.
Now there's no unity.
Yeah.
Right, the breweries are still making bank.
That's right.
Still heavily sort of like fund the politicians of this world.
That's right.
right? So they just change pack, they just change the mechanism, and anybody that's paying attention understands that they play the long game. All of these ideas, all of these notions are subtle, they're gradual, they take time, right? But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, or whatever fucking pronoun makes you feel comfortable, the three of us here are older than the internet.
Yes, we are. Yeah, so yes. Yes, we are.
Sorry, my daughter says, "Daddy, you're ancient now." I'm like,
no. You can say ancient. You can say that if they want, but guess what? What it means is that you can kind of see the difference. You can see the weakness, the unnecessary weakness, right? And you can see that flawed directive that seems to allow the divviest and the weakest to not only live like Brother Carl said, but to rule. There is no other species where that can make it. The eagle, the eaglets. If you're small and skinny, and you're not fighting for that food, you're not making it, and the others might eat you. You know, if you know, I mean, if you notice with the cats, listen, we always see the cats running after and catching food and catching their prey, but I'll tell you, for those that can't make it, starvation happens. If the cheetah uses too much energy to run at 60 miles an hour, boy, might not have enough energy to hunt. So it's a very precarious balance. The strong, let me make it through. And what is strong? What's the perception of strong? Is it muscles? Is it bigness? Is it tough? Being tough outside can take a good licking. Or is it something else? Is it a combination of something else? Is it not based on the physical? Is it based upon the ethereal, the spiritual? Is it based upon the essence of ourselves? Is that really where the strength needs to be, or does the strength still need to expand in the body, in the physical? Gentlemen.
the thing is, it doesn't have to be physical, but having the option of physical if it's required, that's a different story. But it looks like this has been taken away, and because it's been taken away, what I mean by that is being enforced that if you do use anything physical, then you will be punished. Then you don't have that option. The last drop, right? It doesn't have to, but when you do have it as an option, and the other party knows that that's an option, that can be resolved a lot quicker and easier, wouldn't it?
Here's the thing, right? All of this come about because of people's fear. Now, yeah, physical attributes can come in handy, but don't ever delude yourself. The most meekest of individual can run rings about the biggest giant if he's got the right frame of mind about him. I've seen it done on many occasions, right? And let's go back into the deepest philosophies of this kind of fucking world that we're experiencing, right? It is said that the all is mind and the universe is mental.
Right.
And it also is mentioned that circumstance doesn't matter, only your state of being matters.
Right.
So strength can be within the mind. That's where it starts, the heart and the mind. Right? That's where one's true strength comes from. Its ability to stand there in front and facing its own demise and still stand in its truth. That's where strength comes from. You know, you can imprison the body, but you can't imprison the mind. This idea of self-development is a construct and an idea. You can't kill an idea. You can kill the man, but you can't kill an idea. And at the moment, they've been blocking and deleting and restructuring information and ghosting information on the World Wide Web, and people hold it as sacrosanct, like Google is the definitive gospel of man. It's fucking ridiculous. It's even a phrase. Google it. Just Google it. It's like they censor information left, right, and centre. But again, we mentioned in another episode that people have been so distracted that what they've been distracted by is life. You see, what they've been told is life. And anything outside of that, well, that's fucking conspiratory, isn't it? Because it doesn't say it on the news, it doesn't say it on the radio, and it's not on the internet.
Right.
Because if you Google it, or if you Wikipedia it...
Yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah. That's the realities.
Yeah.
Google or Wikipedia. That's the gospel of man. It's like, fucking hell, look at the state we've got ourselves in, really.
And where's the reference library? Oh, nobody wants to take the time out to jump on a bus and walk down the street and go to the library and then go to the reference library section and say, I want to read about X and such and such. And when you get those books, you can't take them out. But you sit down, you read, you take your notes, you look at the reference points, you cross-check those reference points, and you can find those reference points in the same library to validate. So there's time being taken. Now, someone say at a press of a button. At a press of a button, if you're being taken to the wrong information at a press of a button, how efficient, how useful is that 2-second button press?
You would take this opportunity to stop while I've got a mouthful of food.
Well, at this moment.
Well, I was, for some reason, I was like thinking, was that just by chance that I heard Carl about him going through and I know I mentioned before the Republic by Plato. And it's interesting because the justice is being, taken all sides, from all angles. And how much is justice added to all of this?
What really is that? Because isn't that yet another construct? Really, at the end of the day, something that's been placed there to do what exactly? Really? I mean, there's this talk of this balance. There's this talk of justice, but we've seen how it has succeeded, and we've seen how it's failed.
Well, it's just the thing is when you can see that depending on how much financial power you have, justice can be on your side.
Right.
How is justice just? It shouldn't be anything to do with how much you can pay and how you can buy your best solicitors and your best lawyers in the world and all that sort of thing.
But why not? Why not? If those are the framework.
But that's not justice anymore. That means
Is it not?
How can it be? Because if you are poor, where you have done nothing wrong, and someone can frame you for a crime that you haven't committed, and you end up taking and doing the time for someone else that's rich and committed the crime, how is that justice?
I don't know.
Well, what you're suggesting here, and I happen to agree with you, but for people, if not necessarily you, Jan, but if people are out there trying to work that out, right? Crime has price.
Right.
And depending on your bank balance will depend on the price that you pay for the crime.
Yeah.
If you don't have any money, then the price you're going to pay for that crime is time.
Yeah.
But if you have an awful lot of money,
then you pay.
Then that's the cost you pay.
Yeah.
So crime in itself has a price that can be bought. So justice is for sale. And in this case, if that's the point, if that's the reality, then justice isn't justice at all. It's a facade.
Well, hang on. Is it really? Because we're saying that based upon the notion of what we believed it to be. But what if it never was that in the first place? If it never, just surmising here, no position either way. But what if it never was? Just then what? Now you're not in that. Now we're not in that position anymore. Now that it doesn't matter. Now it all makes sense.
Now I'm skipping about the kitchen.
There you go. You see
Because
that?
I'm excited.
You
For
see?
the simple reason. Go on.
Go on.
Yeah, for the simple reason is that it's all fake. It's all fake. It's all
Thank you for
theatre.
saying it.
You know, it's all fucking fake. You are taken to court because you are a corpse. What is taken to court is the corpse, the corporate fictitious other that was created when your parents signed the birth certificate and created a government docket.
Right.
And you then are representing that governmental docket, right, which is a fiction, which is a corporation, because that's what's being tried. Hence, corpse corporation. So you have to be dead. So it's a death certificate, not a birth certificate. But it all depends where people place themselves. That may be a bit fucking high strung for people. But let me put it into perspective for you. There's people that have gone to court being able to prove that they are not the straw man, but the living, flesh, breathing man or woman on the land. Not the corporation, which is presented in uppercase capital letters on your birth certificate. And that is what is on any kind of court document, because that is the corporation. But again, it's all wrapped up in legalese and corporate doublespeak. So people,
You know, let me ask you this, Carl.
Go on.
Let me ask you this, so to clarify for people, because it's an interesting point. It's a great point that you can make here. Is when you say he actually proves that he's the living being on this land. Does he mean that the man law does not apply on that?
Well, there's two things that are taking place. There's common law, right?
Right.
Which is basically the Magna Carta. It's based on the rules of the Magna Carta, right? Which was agreed upon that people were free to travel unimpeded, right? And in the sense of crime, right? It's just massive. It's a massive fucking thing. Yeah. Basically, there's admiralty law that deals with the corporation, which are the courts, the crown. This is why you have the crown and all the rest of it. Right, it's a crest, coat of arms, etc. And then you have civil kind of courts, but this is like civil matters, etc. You know, private matters. Right. But with common law, like I said, this is just the way people govern and treat themselves and what they are beholden to in relation to the state. Right. And the two are very different. The moment you can separate legally, right, through documentation that you are the living flesh, living, breathing man, woman, right, of the land, not the corporation representing the deceased, then they've got no jurisdiction over you in the sense of policy and statute.
Okay, but and so
right, but if you're don't get me wrong, if you're murdering people, then it's murder. You know, I mean, if you're doing crimes like burgling and stabbing and robbing people, then it still don't matter if it's common law or maritime law, British Admiralty law. You know, but in relation to taxes, summons for non-payment of council tax, or the local authorities frigging parking ticket, and just you know the tax for your vehicle, all these kind of things that fundamentally we don't have to pay.
Yeah.
There are so many things we don't actually have to pay, but so they've made it so fucking difficult that people are brought into this. Oh, well, when you're born, you get your birth certificate, you know, and everything counts, right? And what they say, well, if you don't get your birth certificate, you can't get no medical help. Oh, really? Really? Yeah. Well, that's not true, is it? That's not true. We know that.
But who would want to get the medical help from those people anyway? That's another.
But because not every doctor's trying to freaking kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
Not every doctor's trying to kill you.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
Right, but on that front, I've seen many people with an unknown get treated because it's what people do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they have people buying in, and this is why they're trying to destroy the National Health Service at the minute, because they want to privatise it to make more money. So we got to pay more things.
So instead of having the option of having private medicine or national health, now they just want to get rid of national health. So
yeah,
it's
they
all
just want you
private.
to buy medical insurance.
Yeah. So they
Well, didn't you see what the Rishi Sunak just brought to the table right now? They said, well, if you can't get a GP appointment, because obviously the people that keep talking about that it's hard to get a GP appointment, you can go straight to the pharmacist, and the pharmacist can prescribe you what you need.
You see, it's just to get on that chain, man. It's just for them to have that money machine kicking off, man. I mean, come on, man. At the end of the day, I mean, really.
So you don't even have to be seen by a doctor. You know what I mean?
No, you don't need to be seen by a doctor, because the doctor is...
Ignite your vitality. Meet the LifeSpring Gold Card, a quantum leap in wellness. Revitalize your bioenergy, boost stamina, ease aches, and improve your mental focus. Shield yourself from electromagnetic frequencies emitted from cell phones, laptops, and other smart technologies. Restructure tap water, revitalize food, and harmonize everything around you. Elevate well-being with LifeSpring, made in the USA. Order today from VanessaElston.com.
The doctor is basically the pharmacist in some cases. The doctor doesn't touch it. In some of the situations that I've heard out here, the man is sitting there. Hey, what's wrong? So you're telling him what's wrong, and he's looking at you. He don't touch you. Doesn't do anything. Yeah, man. Let me prescribe you these. Yeah, right, take two of them and see me in the morning.
That's just it. And let's not forget about the point that I made earlier on, right? If you've got 750 million, right, the doctor's coming to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what people don't seem to fucking realise, right?
Yeah.
You can take that stance. Oh, well, just go to the pharmacy, right? His fucking doctor comes to him.
Yeah.
With all the tablets needed.
With all the things that he needs. Yeah, with all the things that he needs.
I mean, you know that. I mean, yeah. Okay, look. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I haven't seen that in action here, mate. You know, with what's it? And with my daughter's mum. She has a courtesy. What is it called? It's like they have this thing called, it's like a concierge. There's a concierge type scenario that they have now. That's available. And so, like, one time she woke up and she was in agony. She's like, "Oh, my back, my back." I was like, "What?" She's looking at, she's holding onto the door, holding like this. And then she called her doctor, and the doctor came round. And it was in COVID time. So, I remember just seeing some woman standing at the door, masked up. All I could saw was eyes. It could have been anyone. I had to let her in the house. If she comes in, I just looked at her, shook my head, and she walks in the house. And she walks in the house, ready, with needle ready, jabbed her with a cortisone shot in the back, and out. Yeah, phone call, didn't have to go anywhere, didn't have to get in the car and drive her anywhere. She just had to all she had to do was hit a button. That's it, the one button on her phone, her doctor.
So if you're third, I'm not saying yourself, Yanni, or your family, but say, for all intents and purposes it could be, but you're third, fourth generation of that kind of lifestyle, you will know nothing of people having to wait fucking 2 days to get fucking 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get fucking doctor's appointments. Yeah. I mean, there's certain people that don't. It's what's interesting is like, here, if you pay for health insurance, or you happen to have good health insurance through your work or company, then yeah, you when you want to go and see a doctor, that's when you're seeing the doctor. Now, maybe when you get there, there's a few people in there, but you're scheduled to see that doctor, and you don't have to fork out. And if you've got a no copay situation, I mean, even then, imagine that you're paying insurance, right, which you're paying, and then when you get there, there's a next fee that you're paying, a copay thing, so now you're paying money in cash, right? It's just like, I looked at it, dude, when I stood there one day at the dentist, man, because something happened when I went back to you, and this lady came out the door, and the room was full of people. Lady came out the door,
and another one with her, and they were discussing the cost of the replacement of, what was it? I want to say a tooth. I kind of want to say a tooth because because as she walked through, and they were talking, and when they said the cost as they walked through, because they were having a conversation, they could obviously oblivious to everybody else. But when they left, you want to see how everybody in the room joint. Nobody knows each other. Everyone looked at each other and said, "Yeah, you heard that, right?" They're like, 6,000 for what? Or for what? For one tooth? And we talk about like 26 grand for the other. Everyone was just looking at me, and we all looked at the door. And we heard, and she was saying that she had to come back. I was just like, man, you got money? If you got money, you can get yourself fixed up. I mean, look, when you see it in movies and you think, yeah, that's European future. Dude, no, that's been here for a while. There's been issues, but it's always talks down of people having to make decisions as to whether or not which tooth to keep, which one to not keep. If there's an injury or there's a certain which thing to go for and which bit not. Like, you can't just get fixed properly, all of you. You have to make a decision. Oh, well, leave the finger and just do the rest of the others. Thanks. What? Yeah, this is where we are. So obviously they want the UK to run over there too. So lovely. Yeah, great. Just following Hollywood's narrative to the letter.
It's madness.
To the letter.
It's madness, and you make an interesting point there as well. You know, with the whole, you didn't mention this, but with the cloning, the growing of organs. If you've got enough money, just grow as one of them, will you? You know, I need a new face, or I've got a new arm. You know, I need a new leg. You know, and you can get that stuff ordered. You can grow it
all day long. All day long.
That's where we are.
All day long.
That's where we are.
All day long. People don't realise it.
People go, that's not what's going on. Look, we've just announced that we put a microchip in somebody's brain so they can operate their phone. This is where we're at.
Don't people say that they show it? They show it to us through the movies.
Total recall.
That's capable, everything that's possible.
Total
everything
recall.
That's right. And isn't there's a movie about this the insurance kind of policy where they grow these clones in case of, as an insurance policy, in case one of their organs are failing, so they can. I can't remember what's the name of the movie, to be honest.
Oh,
but I've seen it, and two of them escape, and they end up seeing the policyholder meeting the policyholder. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh, wait a minute. I did see that movie. I think I did see that movie. Madness. The movie's Madness, but I think I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that they show it in movies, I don't think it's happening.
I mean,
you know,
think of it
because to find a donor, to find a donor and for your body to accept the organ, it has to have your DNA signature. So why not clone yourself? Right? So you don't have to find a donor. You can have your own clone, and whatever organ you need, you take it from the clone.
You know what?
Or just like drink baby's blood.
Nah, we won't do that. We'll go back to the cloning bit. You know what? Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'm going to say, right? Here's what I'm going to say. Let's fast forward 150 years. And now society is flying about in their own transport, right? They're moving about now because you see that's the only way that's going to work. There's going to be no restrictions like that. I mean, you know.
Well, let's be more realistic, Gianni. Whatever is left of the population in 150 years. I'm just talking about the population and whatever. I didn't say this population or anything. I just said 150 years. The population is moving about, right? There's a different sort of comprehension that's now manifest, i.e. different technology for propulsion,
different technology for energy, different technology, different approach to teaching. Now, whether it's gone back to the more not teaching, whether it's a different approach to learning, to humanity really becoming, a strong being in the universe, as opposed to something that's controlled. Maybe your freedom, maybe tyranny no longer there, and now given an opportunity to flourish and flower because the Watchers decided that why not? Because some geezer named he just had a thought, sent it out to the universe, and it was heard, and they were like, you know what, that geezer's rock on, fuck it, we'll go with it. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm just saying, right?
I like the idea. I do like the idea to imagine it, what could possibly be, but I don't think that we could explore or ignore, should I say, right? Even though it was said in such a flippant way, the Watchers have decided. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that may have just slipped by everybody else. Do you know what I mean? But who are the Watchers and what have they decided? Yeah, no, you can't do that one, Ayana. You can't get away with that one. Anyway, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is about that time of the show where we're going to explore the right honourable, fabulous, illustrious Marius with what comes up.
Oh, taking off guard as usual. Taking off guard as usual. What comes up?
What comes up?
Oh, that's a brilliant point. What comes up tonight? What comes up tonight?
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah, no, it's not good because in UK you can't pick it up. It has to be the other one that follows after, and you end up with a damaged car for no reason. So forget it. No deer in the front of the headlights. No. But what comes up tonight, gents and listeners? Well, as we were talking about the pacification of man and where we are in today's world. Why you laughing so tasty? Sorry.
Keep going.
You're not sorry. Stop saying.
I'm not sorry.
You don't mean.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, something that you don't mean. But the thing is, this is the reality. We do live in a world where man, that's an interesting name. Men are the kind of creatures that we like to, as a man, I'm a man, I consider myself to be a man, can I say it, in today's world? Well, I don't know, I might be prosecuted for it. But fuck it, I'm a man. As a man, observing and the way I grew up, and we are the kind of species that we like to really have that hierarchy and structure when we do something, right? And this is where we have leaders and the team members. If you look at other games that we play, as either it's football or basketball, any games that we as men play, we have a structure. We have a leader, right? Like the team leader, the captain, and then we have the team that it's being structured on the field in such a way that it works. It has a strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, there is an order that we agree to, because we recognize the quality on each and every single one of us to create that strong team. Right? That's why men go to war, because we strategize in a certain way to win that war. Now, in today's world, men are being manipulated to go into a war that has nothing to do with whatever men are fighting for, instead of fighting for something else. But let's not go there. The thing is, as men, we recognize not just the power of every single one of us, we also can, by interaction with each other, recognize where each and every single one of us place is, right? Knowing how we can add and also how to be accepted in that team. Unfortunately, we've been manipulated by money to think that because I'm the team leader, I should be paid more, and because you are only a team member, you should be paid less. And that created a bit of a, disconnect between men. And this is what comes up in tonight's episode, is the fact that to get back into building together, into progressing as a human race, we have to recognize the fact that we can only do that together. We can only do that as a team, not divided the way we've been divided, not into actually pushing our own beliefs onto others and our sensibilities onto others, and saying just because I'm a bit more emotional, you're not allowed to actually explore yourself. Let's put it that way. Because some men are stronger than the other. Some men are wiser than the other. It's just how it is. Because it depends on each and every single one of us what we want to do in our own life, in our journey. Now, that may be different in the future that Ihani was talking about it, right? The future that we can think about it. The thing is, we have to recognize where we are right now. And if we want to have a future and be in that future that we can, imagine, then we have to make sure that we are going to have continuity of the human species. And that only comes through teamwork. And that doesn't mean just man. I mean man and woman, if that's such a thing in today's world. But there is women. So it's all about building that team. The kind of team where we can actually be ourselves, the same way, as an example, the House of Lords, right? My brother Ihani, my brother Carl, and me, Marius. We are different than each other. We have different views. That doesn't stop us from exploring ourselves, not into arguing with each other, but working with each other, creating that team that can make a difference.
Yeah.
And there you have it from the Right Honourable Marius on what comes up right here on the House of Lords, available on other networks. And if you're new to the House of Lords, give the page a peruse, share this episode if you feel compelled to, and maybe share it with some people that you may feel may benefit from it. And if you're equally offended, I'm sorry, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
No one's sorry.
I'm not.
Yeah. When we before we were starting, when we were actually having our conversation on the phone, we touched upon. We were talking about doing. We were talking. Actually, we were asking Marius a question. And then suggestions were made and stuff like that. And I remember saying that, well, one of the reasons as to why I'm interested in what we were talking about was the fact that I felt as if this whole fatherhood thing. And first of all, let me just put my hand up and say, yeah, I'm not a model citizen, so don't even go there. I'm just going to say that now, so that anybody pipes up and says anything, is like, I already said it in the first place. I'm not a model citizen. Shut up. Just to clarify, we're not doing that here. But what I was saying is that we were talking about, you know, fatherhood had actually taken a bit of a fucking, you know, a couple of blasts to the starboard bow, like up close and personal, because, you know, things were being stifled. You know, logic was being stifled. Natural, just like you have the mama bear that step out and does anything to keep the babies protected. You know, the papa bear comes with it too. And all of a sudden it's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. What? Excuse me, what? Pardon? What? Can't defend my children from that. What are you talking about? So, you know, then we were discussing the idea of creating something that would address such things.
Well, first off, you've got to address that what's being taught in society today, that Papa Bear is transgender and fluid. Mama Bear is a lesbian identifying as a squirrel, and the baby is still undecided. You see?
Identify as a squirrel. I'm sorry. Oh dear. I'd say so. So the question.
Yeah. You know, I told Carl to stop wearing the red dress, but he still goes with the red dress, man. It's unbelievable. Come on, Carl.
I'm just saying what I say. I grew up on Mr. Chips, remember?
Yeah.
You know, catchphrase or whatever it was. Can you see what it is yet? You know. And that's the world we're living in. I'm playing Mr. Chips when I meet human beings now. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is that the world we're living in?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm not playing. Yeah, I'm taking my ball. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Give me back my frisbee. Give me back my frisbee.
Yeah.
Give me back my frisbee. I'm going.
In the woods.
It's like nah, because it was all right until they came on the pitch. And you say, all right, then you can play. And when you're playing now, they can't even throw the frisbee straight at you, man. It's over there. It's not far enough. There's no glide. Don't want to play with you. And then they're complaining. Well, come closer. No, we don't have to. No, this is the whole point. We want to see the thing move. We want to anticipate it coming, and then we run for it if it goes over our heads. But you can't even throw the frisbee, and you want us to be happy about that. No, come on, man. Come on.
No.
Come on. All the liberties that are taken where, you know, you've got the hard work. Right, the hard, dedicated work of some of the best female athletes out there in some amazing sports, boxing, you know, running, you name, well, you know, track and field, you know, weightlifting and stuff. But the elephant in the room of late, it's just a little bit too much, man. And I mean, to be honest here. It's a bit much, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, the fact that I can call myself Helen and I can go and box with a woman.
No, please, no. First of all, don't do that. Because now we can't even unsee that, bro. We can't even unsee that, as you said.
But you know what I mean?
But that's the reality of what it is, isn't it? You know, let's take it for instance. The Right Honourable Marius has a Barney with his missus, right? And she squares up to him, and he unloads a Rocky Marciano into a rib section, and then a Tyson hook, right? Marius is going to jail, right? Yeah. Because of, you know, abuse, being a male, you know, beating up a woman, etc. Right, but Marius is right. If Marius turns around and says, no, I identify as a woman now, right, and then turns around and says, right, look, we're going to enter an MMA ring, put them gloves on, right, and me and you are going to have it because I'm a woman now, right, and then he does it in there, then it's all right, he's the new champion. And like you were saying, Iani, right, you've got women's powerlifting, for instance, right, hadn't moved an inch for years, a pound here or something there, right, for years, you know, it's like women had reached the pinnacle for you know, to what they could potentially bench, right, or lift, right, and then a trans woman comes along and beats it by 100 kilos.
See, and that's just not, it's just...
The world's fastest woman held the record for yonks. And when I say yonks, I mean yonks, right? Yep. Like she's shit hot. Yeah. Boom! Right? Yep. Held the women's world record for yonks. Right? and she's the world #1 fastest woman in the world, right? Now, if you was to take that woman's best world record time, right, and put it into the men's division, she would rank 7,000th. She would be in the 7,000 plus position.
Really? Yeah. That far back?
That far back.
Oh, because you're looking at Usain Bolt, though. You're looking at Usain.
Yeah, it's tens of a second.
You're looking at Usain Bolt.
But,
yeah.
But that's the difference.
Yeah.
Then you've got women swimming. Women train their ass off, swim their ass off, right? And then you've got this trans woman that comes along with a back like Bruce Lee, right? And does a fucking Michael Phelps.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
And there's the world's record, still got the big old pocket, you know what I mean? Still got the pocket rocket in the swimsuit. And it's like, what?
That's a liberty.
Look,
No, it's a liberty. It's a bloke, mate. It's a bloke. You got a tadger.
I can fucking see
You got a tadger. That's a tadger right there, bulging out of his trousers. What are you talking about as a woman?
You got a back broader than two of these girls put together.
No. See, liberty. Just because you say so? Just because you say so? No. You see, that's a liberty. Right there.
Oh, do you know what? Here's the thing, right? I see this YouTuber or Instagrammer or TikToker, right? He does make me laugh, right? But he said, I went into the bank the other day because I identify as a millionaire. And I said to the cashier, I want £1 million. And she looked in my account and said, you don't have £1 million. He said, that's irrelevant. I identify as a millionaire. I want £1 million. The woman called security and he got escorted out the bank. At that point, he realised the reality of the situation. Just because you identify as something doesn't make it so.
Exactly. Exactly. No, it's as simple as that. I mean, those are the realities. Those are the realities. And you I mean, come on.
Sounds like the fairyland or something.
Look. It touched me. It touched my own household. That's the reason why I'm saying something, because it touched my own household, and I weren't really cool with it at all. I was not cool with it at all because it seemed like a manipulation more than anything that was going on, and I really just couldn't. I could not. I actually wasn't comfortable with it at all. I weren't happy about it at all. But yet, I was met with this wall of, I can't even begin to explain it to you. A wall that makes no sense. A wall.
I'll tell you what it was. You came into contact with Agent Smith.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what you came into contact with, Agent Smith. And I see Agent Smith everywhere. He's in so many people.
Yep.
He really is.
It's the smell.
It's the smell.
It's Darren. It's the
smell.
It's the smell. That's a good one. Anyway,
can't you smell it? Can't you marvel in it? I mean, it's repugnant. I want to get out of here. I need to get out of here.
You know, I had one of those experiences the other night, and I was like, oh, I know what you mean now, Yanni, by the smell. Okay.
There you go. It's an interesting concept.
But it brought me, the smell itself brought me straight to our discussion.
Yeah. There you go.
It's pungent.
Very.
You know, you can see the fingerprints of the cabal. You know, you can see it sculpting these people that expressing themselves. Or are they? You know, it's like, what the fuck? What? How are you trying to tell me something about life when you don't know what you are?
Exactly.
Work out that first, right? And then let's have a grown-up conversation about the way the world's operated, eh?
There you go.
I don't want to sound like in defense, but let me bring this to the table, because that's something that we can't just overlook it.
Can't overlook what?
Depends how big the table is.
And depending what you are defending. And what are we defending?
I'm not defending anything.
You're not
I just want to bring to the table some awareness into the fact that the food has been tampered with a lot of shit, chemicals and you name it, that may have an influence on
psychological effect.
So we're talking about chemicals that are touching the brain and changing chemical.
Well, anything that we put in our body, it will change the structure.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So the fact that the water is the quality of the water that we're drinking in today as well, because of the fluoride from the toothpaste that
Is it
a lot of
quality?
people are using.
Mm.
Are using to brush their teeth. I used to be one of those until I become aware of it, and I
Mhm.
was like, so I'm the one putting the fluoride. I'm gonna be drinking it later
Mm-hmm.
from the tap. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that sounds brilliant. They don't have to put the fluoride in the water because people are doing it themselves. You know what I mean? They don't even have to do it. Oh my goodness!
Me are familiar faces, worn out places.
You know the one. Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah, brilliant tune. You know, it's what is you know what's quite interesting about that is like so then who were the companies behind that? So what you're trying to tell me, right, is that Colgate, right, and what's it, Aquafresh, and all those companies that's got the
Aqua Fresh sounds very fresh, man.
all them companies, right, global, all them different, and those are other brands around the world, right, that are literally they're like, interesting. It's just they're like, yeah, no, don't put no more. It's like we've got the contract to do it, and we'll sell, and we'll make millions on toothpaste in the process.
It's crazy. Crazy. And if people think that's a bit nuts, honestly, go upstairs right now. If you've got any of the brands that were mentioned or some all different ones, go and have a look at the back, read the product label, and you may find a little warning that says contains poisonous substance. And if digested in a quantity above a pea-sized piece, then contact that helpline. It says that on the back of your toothpaste. Don't take my word for it. Go check it out. But there are some fabulous manufacturers out there that produce fluoride-free toothpaste.
Doesn't say it on mine.
No, don't say it on mine because mine doesn't have fluoride in it.
Indeed.
It's the same with the shampoo, another one, right? If it goes in your eyes,
Oh my God.
you have to contact the. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, don't let it get in your eyes. Why not? Oh, I see. Why not? I'm now blind in one eye.
Because it burns.
It burns exactly. Like, wait a minute. So you know, we're touching on one of them crazy scenarios where it's like,
is it crazy though?
Well, it's not crazy, is it? It's this. It's things like this. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to our voices here and you can withstand all of this. Cleaning products, ladies and gentlemen, should not, I repeat, should not be poisonous, i.e., you should be able to consume them and it not bother you. That is the mark of a cleaning product. When it has a poisonous warning, don't splash in the eye, don't get directly on your skin, and those are the things that you're using to clean your property. You're taking a bottle of, essentially a caustic bottle of poisonous substance, or maybe not even caustic, but it has a poison in it because you can't drink it. You can't just go, hold on, wait a minute, I'm thirsty. Hey, this house is great, big, it's big, but I'm thirsty. Hold on, I've got a cold one in it. It's a bit thick, but oh, noticing. You can't do that with any of that stuff. Okay? You'll be throwing up and vomiting in no time at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, why are you purchasing cleaning products that are actually harmful to you? The scent in things like, should we go there? Should we? Fuck it. The scent in things like Febreze, for example. Dude, that's an endocrine disruptor. That's messing with you. And by the way, the commercial, hold on, wait. The commercial for that brand, right, is a woman come out. She comes to the sofa. Does your sofa stink? Right? And she coming on. Don't worry. Use lavender Febreze.
Have you become nose blind?
Use lavender Febreze. And she. So now The commercial is literally saying it's literally telling you if your sofa stinks and it needs actually to be washed, don't worry about that. Save water
Put
and
Febreze.
spray this chemical on there. You'll be fine. Okay? Let's just be real. You know, these are the types of commercials that are second place. You know, the Tums commercial that used to happen. Oh, is your stomach hurting? Quickly, take 2 of these for quick relief, right? No, now it's like, oh, would you like to eat that shitty pizza? Then before you do, you know what's going to happen to you, bro. So before you do, pop 2 of these, mate, and go ahead, and you'll be fine. Oh yeah, and I've watched how that commercial has changed, how it's changed emphasis, how it used to be to aid recovery, and then it became, and they were saying no, but we're not getting enough of the market. You see, we're getting people after their belly, after they've eaten that shit. I tell you what, why don't we sell it before? What happens if you eat it before, Don? Don't know. Oh, Bill, what happened when you had those? You had 3 of them. Yeah, what happened? You know what? I was like, we had them 2 burgers, mate, and I was right as rain. All right, that's what we'll go with. Is that Bill? But Bill's in the warehouse. Yeah, we'll go with Bill's suggestion. Next thing you know, it's on the commercial. Pop 2 before you eat your shit, you'll be fine.
You know, I wanna big up, just give a big shout out for Ricky Gervais here. Ricky Gervais. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais?
Ricky Gervais?
Ricky Gervais, yeah.
Yeah.
He had one that was
Yeah.
He said, we live in the times where on the bleach bottle, we have to put the label, do not drink. Well, why don't remove that for 1 year and let it see what happens? You know, so we can get...
I saw that skit. I thought that was quite good, and I thought it's harsh, but he does have a point.
It's a great point. It's a great point. He does. Because it's the elephant
Actually,
in the room.
I watched his.
The
I don't know
elephant in
if
the
you guys watched. He has an interesting movie. He's Afterlife. I don't know if you guys watched it, but he has a lot of insights in it.
But
The
it's-
Afterlife.
But it's Afterlife. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I am going to look at that.
I have. He
Maybe.
has a lot of great points in it, and
But it's
yeah,
the
it's about
elephant
a
in
guy
the
that.
room. He's addressing the main elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. That the elephant, even in fact, that some people now have come along, befriended that elephant, and said, "Guess what? You're massive. They can't see you. We'll defend you. We'll stick up for you. Don't worry." You got people sticking up for the elephant in the room, not dealing with it. You see, this is where we've got to in 2024. We're now sticking up for the elephant in the room, as opposed to saying, "Wait, before we go any further, could we please look at the elephant in the room right here?"
No, you can't do that no more, because that's analytical thinking. It means that you've actually been doing some research, and as society now dictates that one shouldn't do their own research because it can lead to believing in conspiracy theories.
Hold on, wait a minute. Are we here at the? Is this the start of the Minority Report? Thanks, Tom. Thank you, Colin Farrell, for your wonderful work in your movie. Thank you. Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you, guys. Look where we are now.
I think I can tell you where we are right now, Yannick. I think is that particular time, that particular time when we introduced this wonderful gentleman, the wise man, man, the beautiful, the gorgeous, the honestly the fabulous,
absolutely
Carl. We hit the pinboard with Carl. It's just that time. Carl, all over to you.
Oh, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. You are so kind. And here we are with Hit the Pinboard once again, right here on the House of Lords. And one of the things that were pinned on the pinboard, we've discussed it already, and it was censorship and stuff like that. But I'm going to turn that censorship gaze inwards and turn it on ourselves. We often censor ourselves. We often unconsciously hold on to various expressions in various social settings through fear of reprisal or offence in some way. But are you not offending yourself? Are you not censoring yourself for the comfort or the perceived thereof somebody else's reality? By robbing the situation of your unique cosmological expression that chose to come through you within that moment. And the reason why I talk about the censorship thing, right, because it's difficult sometimes navigating through life with that kind of construct thrust upon our face like some kind of gag or bullcock in some gimpish fantasy where you don't want to actually address the elephant in the room through fear of somebody being fucking offended. Now, what are you doing? Well, you're robbing yourself. Am I infallible? Am I? Fuck, sometimes I curse. Sometimes I can sound like a professor that studied an awful lot in some form of academic theatre of higher learning about the quantum dynamics of reality in and unto itself. And other times I can sound like a cockney fucking Herbert, an archetypal, knuckle-dragging, narrow-minded goof, right? So what do? Do I get rid of that? Do I try to bury that or suppress that through some form of desire of being accepted by a particular group of people that enjoy what I say because it's funny or insightful? Fuck off. I'm me. You're you. Be you. And at the moment we're living in a world where people are saying, oh, you can't say that, you can't do this, no, this is that, and this is this. And we've all stood there going, well, no, it's fucking not. No, it's fucking not. We're all having tea parties around our friends' houses and families and laughing and joking about the absurdity of it all, but yet still conforming in that social fucking situation. So what does that bring about? Well, it brings about the reality of the fucking absurdity that you'll only talk about in closed fucking corners. Dark little frigging speakeasies with your friends. Look at fucking Ian. Look at Sarah. She looks fucking weird, isn't she? Yeah, she thinks she's a cat. Fucking alright then, alright, but we went, hello Sarah, do you want a glass of milk, love? You know, and that's the world we live in. Sarah, instead of turning around and saying, Sarah, get the fucking tail out your arse, right? Leave the kink in the bedroom, get a fucking grip of yourself. Darren's been eyeing you up all night, right? But instead, we're pandering to the nonsense and the absurdity through fear of not being accepted by the people that fundamentally don't give a fuck about you by and large, because the ones that do give a fuck about you know exactly what you think and they love you anyway. So why are we doing it? Why are we censoring ourselves for the behest and the whim of people that clearly do not have your best interests at heart and would sooner castrate you medically because they like you to be sterile? So there's far less of these fucking hungry imbeciles that like Geordie Shore. So they can go to Dubai on a yacht and eat fresh mangoes off the back of a 7-year-old rent boy. While you are quite happy going out in the streets with your flag, right, for a month, right, in boot shorts, right, sucking off Darren, right, in front of little boys and woke parents in their buggies going, oh, look, isn't it lovely? Look, there's your dad over there. Look at him in the Gimps suit. That's it. Yeah, that's your dad. Give him a wave. It's brilliant, isn't it? All for the fucking courtesy of diversity and acceptance. Bring back the fucking asylum, that's what I say, because by the looks of things, that's what we fucking need. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what's on the fucking pinboard. Thank you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful, wonderful car.
Yeah. You see, this is what it's See, this is what it's about, though. I mean, look. If you've given up, I think was it the last episode or the episode before? We touched upon, responsibility of self, right? We touched upon that. Okay. We find ourselves in a situation today where, yes, does seem a little haywire. Is it because we are older and that we're not changing with the times? Well, if changing with the times is to do with progressing as a species, progressing to where the species thrives. Right? Thrives naturally as can be, not this artificial inception that's happening, this artificial manipulation that's taking place. But no, naturally, those that were born, that was strong, that didn't need to be weakened with whatever. Every child that was born, and if they're born strong and they cried, they're rocking and rolling, they're off to the races. There's nothing wrong. Oh, wait, hold on. Let's go back a touch. Was the breastfeeding going on? Did the female nourish the child the right way? Okay, cool. Because we know that the child feeds off the mum. Not the mum's eating for two. No, the child is eating off of you whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. This is how it works. When one human is being created, this is what it's doing. It's using the necessary particles to finish the job. You're not going to get that from McDonald's. Oh yeah, or Kentucky. Yeah, or I'm craving peanut butter and jelly omelette. No, you're not going to get it from that. Okay, just so people know. Pickled onions. No, you're not going to get it from pickled onions. I'm sorry. All those cravings that used to happen back in the day will probably still happen even today. Yeah, there were some cravings. Yeah, when mine were born. No. No, the child is eating from you, ladies. Yes, the child is literally taking yours. So you're eating for yourself. And then, when the time comes, what hasn't been told to you is that all that energy that was taken, that was taken, it sits there in the placenta. Yes, it does. It sits in there in the placenta. All the nutrients that were extracted from you, that you are now beat, sit in that placenta. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, yeah, yeah. Don't shake your head, wincing, looking. No, he's not going to say that, is he? No, I couldn't do that. Not moist like that, straight out of it. No, I'm not talking about that. No, not moist, but one should be taking that home, and one should be finding ways of eating that, consuming it. Because guess what? You're restoring yourselves, ladies. You didn't think about that, did you? I told you about some other stuff. Oh yeah, take this stuff and take this stuff. You restore. No, real restoration come back like that. I'm just telling you. But that's another story.
You brought a great point about the progression aspect, right?
Yeah.
Consciousness progression. And when you brought that, it kind of got me to that point. It's like to look at self, right? Look at myself, and it's very easy to just blame, Karen and Darren and Sarah and whatever, right? Right? Yeah. There you go. The thing is, how much have I played and been part of it myself, right? Because to get at this point, every single one of us alive and the one that died have added to it. Every single one of us, one way or another. Some more, some less. Some are still adding a lot to it, right? But then we all had and have our part in it, in that progression. And from a consciousness perspective, and from a progression perspective of the consciousness, we have to understand that the reason we are at this point is because we are supposed to be at this point. It's meant to happen. Some may say, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Well, I didn't agree. I'm not. Some people may say, "I've always been against it." I'm not saying you haven't. By saying that you were against it, by saying that you knew about stuff, but how much did you do about it? Well, some did more, some did less, some did nothing. Like even now, there may be people that do nothing about it, even though they're in the know of what's happening around the world.
And it's through our immersion in our own experience. I can't stress that enough, because you are the architect. You are the pilot of your journey.
You're the actor, the thespian. Now, you could take the lead role and talk into said Yorick's head, or you could be a little extra at the back that doesn't have many lines at all and doesn't like to be seen. A meek little butterfly. It is your choice. Completely your choice. Now, the insightful aspect of all of that is you now are aware, you have been made privy to, again, like you heard me say the other day, you are now illuminated into the insightfulness of your possibility, where you therefore are the architect, you are the director, you are the key star, or if you wish, the quiet little extra of your own existence. That in itself is insightful.
Fascinating.
Of what's happening around the world. They're in the known about these rabbit holes and so many other things, but they choose to do nothing. Not even to speak about it, right? Because there is an aspect of fear, and you name it. There's a combination of different emotions and statutes and reputations and you name it, because people keep protecting whatever they feel they have to protect. So I had to look at myself and I'm like, okay, so how much have I added to it? Well, for a number of years, I was definitely kind of asleep to a lot of the things. I had to go through my journey to get where I am today, and to a certain point, like a few years back, more likely, more definitive, and more impactful from like 2018. I started to kind of open my eyes a lot wider and be more curious and more, digging into it a lot more. I'm starting to see that I am a cog in the wheel, and I need to understand who I am and what part am I playing in all of this. So, can I eliminate myself from it, from saying that, well, everyone else is at fault but me? No, I can't. I would like to, because, it makes me feel better. I'm better. But am I better? Nah. Am I more aware? More aware than some, less aware than many, who knows? The thing is, what are we going to do now makes the difference. What are we going to do in the moment where life happens makes the difference. And this is where I'm not just honored, but I'm also excited to be part of the wonderful, wonderful group called House of Lords, and be speaking up with and exploring our thoughts in a way of podcast, and not just exploring, but sharing the progression ourselves, our own progression in the journey, and by sharing our progression and by helping each other progress, hopefully, I don't know what happens. I don't want to know as much as we would like to, but impact more and more souls out there to now, this expression, open their eyes. Fuck that shit. Open their eyes, but to become more aware of what life is, more aware of how much impact we all have and how much we add to the choices that we make day by day, and to really they say this word is just for a while. It's like when I remember my dear brother Carl explained about the understand, to make sure that I'm not under your jurisdiction. I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. But to comprehend and to really digest the journey in such a way that I can work towards not becoming but being the the architect of my own reality. And is he easy? Nah. But is it worth it? Every single moment is worth it. It's just being not just being part of the House of Lords, but being part of the Carl's journey and Ihani's journey. It's wonderful. It's great, and it does feel deep down. And I wanted to say it because he's in the podcast. It does feel like we definitely met many times before. We definitely met many times, and I just wanted to express that.
Oh, Mario.
Oh,
You're bringing to the foreground Soul Tribe, aren't you?
Isn't it?
So nice.
Look-
So nice.
Considerate of you.
No, but you know what? All joking on one side, I would have a tendency to agree. I do love the camaraderie. I do love the way that we explore subtle nuances, and we are foolish and insightful and stupid and thick and bright and inspiring all at once. You know, it's. I sat here at one point and I was listening to what you're saying, and I was thinking, you know what? He's right. It's such a rarity to find individuals that you can sit there and have a conversation with for 5 minutes, and it hasn't been 5 minutes, it's been 2 hours. You know, and that in itself is like I just said, it's a rarity, and it's a blessing too to be able to do that with individuals. And I equally like the point about, you know, weighing up your own measure. You know, never keep yourself out of that kind of realization that once upon a time you were the toxicity in the room. I know I certainly was. You know, I'm certainly the nightmare in some people's stories, but I'm an angel in others. And the reality of the situation, they're both true. You know, that's the best way you could explore that kind of narrative. You know, you could ask one person, "Oh, what's he like?" And they'll say, "Oh, he's a fucking arsehole. He's this, that, and the other. He's a cunt. I wouldn't have nothing to do with him." Right? And then they'd ask somebody else and say, "Oh, he's the best person you could ever fucking want to meet. Really, he's sound. He's good as gold." And like I just said, that the paradox is they're both true, because that was their experience of me at that time. But in reality of now, you know, I'm not the person in either of their stories.
Right.
You know, ergo the notion of introspection, development, you know, rediscovering, comprehending new ways of viewing yourself, your output, and even your interactions with the world. And don't take yourself so fucking seriously.
Yeah, I like that. You know, yeah, makes a lot of sense. So much has been so much has been established, re-established, time and time again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what time of the show it is? Well, it's this time of the show for the last and final introduction to the one and only fabulous, quintessentially exquisite, the Right Honourable Ihani, with tip of the day.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, my brothers here. It's an honour always to be amongst you, to be talking, to be part of this journey, and also it's an honour to present to the ladies and gentlemen tip of the day. And what would that be? Well, I suppose if I get my lighter and I take a look at the page, just remind myself of the old days. Remind myself of the old days. Tip of the day. The first part I've got, I actually wrote some notes, you see. I actually came prepared. Up yours. Up yours, mate. I'm getting my gold star. Fuck that. Yeah, I'm sitting up front. Why not? I can't see fuck all with you guys in front of me, so. So yeah, we go. So yes, gold star time. So you see, look, there's a couple of things, man. You got to, when you hear back in the day, go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. What does that mean? What does it mean? Does it mean journey to the point of least resistance? Does it mean don't take yourself too seriously, as was expressed prior by one of the brothers here? Is it to be like water, as Bruce Lee has been recorded saying? His understanding, with his comprehension of things. Well, go with the flow. If you're going with the flow, what does that mean? It means you're making yourself available to be not controlled, because you can't control water. You can house it for a bit, but you can't control it. Once you pour it out the bucket, man, it's doing its own thing. When it hits the floor, it's doing its own thing. There's nothing you can do about it. Be like water. Go with the flow. Go with the flow is being prepared to go with the flow. Being well lubed. But Marius, man, can't help himself. So we're going to move away from that. Well oiled. Oh no, even oiled is bad. Well greased. There you go. Like a baking tin. Well greased. Be well greased, so that you can so you can maneuver through life in a much more in a smooth and efficient, almost buttery way. But ladies and gentlemen, you're staying here with me because I'm just using those terminologies. We're having fun. Yeah. But yes, it's definitely go with the flow. And and so here's what I've got, right? Yeah, I've got things like it says meet and deal with blah. Okay, elephant. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, go with the flow. Be honest. Go with the flow. Be honest. Be honest. Going with the flow. Part of going with the flow is actually being honest. By the way, just saying, just so we're clear, ladies and gentlemen, go with the flow and lying. That's not it. Because you're not going with the flow. Going with the flow is being honest. It's being true to oneself. It's being true to oneself in yourself and to oneself in others. So there's no lying. It's only truth, right? So if you're being honest, you're going with the flow. Now, guess what? The reason why you have to be honest. There is a reason why. There's a reason why you got to be honest. It's because I'm going to say it again. Tip of the day. Deal with the elephant in the bloody room. Okay? If you want to get past all of this nonsense in your families, in your social lives, in your business partner, in your work, all of it, the bedroom, doesn't matter. Or wherever you guys want to get down. You guys get down in the bathrooms, whatever it is. But deal with the elephant in the room. It's okay. It is actually all right to say, guess what? That's got to go. Or that's got to be dressed. Or that's got to be addressed. It's perfectly fine. Because guess what? Most of the people in the room are thinking exactly the same thing. So the House of Lords is granting you permission to go ahead and just say it. Be that one. Be the change you want to be. Go ahead and be honest, because you can go to countries and you're not allowed to be honest. You're not allowed to tell somebody, for the goodness of your heart and for the best and for their best intentions, you're not allowed to go up to some people and say, guess what, love? I'm sorry to say it, but the thing you're wearing, nah. Okay, you're not covering yourself. You're not allowed to tell people why. When they're complaining to you that they can't fit into certain things, they can't do. You're not allowed to tell them why in certain countries. You can't tell them the truth. You've got to sugarcoat it. And sugarcoating it is not dealing with the elephant in the room. Now, again, no one wants to even go down. There could be some association, but we're not doing that. It just happens to be the terminology that humans know. Dealing with the elephant in the room. Right? So be honest. It's okay, because guess what? This is the final part. Guess what? Oh no. That was it. The final part. Deal with the elephant in the room. Just be honest. If you're honest with yourself, that means you're being integral to yourself. So let's at least start there. When you step out and when you wake up in the morning and you do that first yawn on your pillow, if you've not taken care of things the night before, then you can smell your own breath. It's as simple as that. Don't go and talk to somebody with that mouth. Right? Deal with the elephant in the room. Yeah? Yeah? Ladies and gentlemen, my tip for today, please deal with the elephant in the room. Thank you.
Fabulous tip of the day there by the Right Honourable, fabulous, illustrious Black Liquid himself, Iani. Fabulous voice there. Could you imagine? Deal with the elephant in the room and your nasty skanking halitosis. Right, that must be addressed. There's no need for it. There's no need for it at all.
Oh, none at all.
Absolutely fabulously put there, Iani. So as we're being honest and we're addressing the elephant in the room, don't think I forgot about the shining ones and the watchers. So yeah. You see, because ladies and gentlemen, he kind of just put that, and the watchers changed the paradigm. So what's it going to look like, right? But he said it in such a way that he was like, it was a Snicker bar or a bit of candy, right? Just like, go to the shop, pick me up a Snicker bar, right? And there are other confectionaries available, right? Right. So but the watchers, Iani.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Well, I mean, look. Partly because I threw that in there because of I think something to do with a comic, right? I threw that in there and I thought, but more importantly though, it's this. I threw that in there because it would appear, just based upon some observations over a span of decades, that
Yanni.
Yeah,
I think it's a good point because there's nothing else that we promoted tonight, and your comic deserves a shout out. So would you like to explain a bit more to the listeners about it? And just
ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to enlighten you. My brothers have pushed on and something. So yes, I threw a little Easter egg. You see, that was an Easter egg, ladies and gentlemen. Audio Easter egg. Watchers. So there's a comic that I had started. I'd started a comic, created a vision of the not so distant future, and in this vision of the not so distant future, the unfathomable has taken place. Not just to me, but to you, to everybody you know, everything you know. The unfathomable has happened. What it is, you're not sure of, right? But it has taken place. That's for sure. And it's a narrative. It's a journey. It's a journey from that point on. And what I'd done is I had created 2 of the episodes, of which the first one tells the reader. It does tell the reader, look, first of all, before you even start, if you don't have an open mind, and then you can't fathom that anything is possible. If you can't do that as a human being, get off, go away. It was not that bad. It's just like, stop now. No need to go any further, right? But if you do have that capacity, if you have an imagination, you have these something, and you do understand that anything is possible, then stay and follow the journey. And for the, you know, and I remember I knocked out about 4 episodes, of which I released 2, because what happened was when I was getting ready to release, I was procrastinating after. Oh, is it gonna be all right? Okay, I'll just do it. And just in the day that I was about to release the first episode, I listened to it that final time, and then I said, nope, that's not good enough, because I'd been in some experience recently had happened, some other stuff had taken place, some other deeper introspection had gone on, and I said, nah, and I'm not even delivering it the right way. So I changed everything, and I just said a completely different dialogue off the cuff, over the top of the first episode, put it there. Aha! Now we begin. And it's because I decided, what do I want the reader to do? I said, I've been looking at this from an illustrative or from just a design point of view and from some sort of story point of view, but I hadn't really decided what I wanted the listener to do at the time. So I made the decision, and I started. So what did I do? I listened to some few authors and heard their story, took some little tips, and said, okay, the very first thing I got to tell people to do is where the fuck you are. If you don't know where you are, then it's pointless. You'll never get it. And you'll be, oh, this is rubbish. I don't understand this. So at the very beginning, this is where you are. Madness has taken place. The unthinkable has happened. It's so massive that you can't even comprehend it. But that's what's happened. What is it? I don't know. Well, we know. I know what's happened. But the listener doesn't know what's happened. And that's where you go from, or the watcher, and that's where you go from right now. You see, so ladies and gentlemen, after I dropped the 2, I said to myself, this is good. It's a good challenge of my disciplines, music, because I do the music, right? I narrate it. Obviously, I told a story and I put the comments together. But I said, no, but it's missing a bunch of stuff. But what's it missing? What did I say it's missing? It's missing like some characters, some actual proper characters. And I said, look, I know some brilliant people that I've come across, right? That I met, that I love and respect, right? And I said, what's the point of me doing something if I can't possibly ask them to share the journey, to be part of the journey? And because I thought to myself, well, imagine having all of that talent on the one spot. Now you're really going to make an impact. Now the people get it. And don't get me wrong, the first episode, the first 2 episodes, it actually had an impact. People called me and they were like, look, man, just wanted to say, yeah, man, your comic makes me thinking about what's going on in the world. Okay, cool, good. Okay, good. Even though it's got nothing to do with it, or has it, who knows? So yeah. So then I decided, why not? So I contacted Carl and Marius. I also contacted a dear friend of mine by the name of Justine Warrington, brilliant actress. She's an artist, comedian, just talented genius, smiley, big smiler. She's in Canada, amazing person. And then I also contacted another friend of mine by the name of Andy Jacobs, who I had met through the app Clubhouse, the same app that the 3 of us we first met, and a brilliant man himself, absolutely exceptional individual, and a dear friend and brother of mine. And I decided, yes, why not have a family involved in this? People that I respect and love their view, their voices, they've got imaginations, and then really take this to task. So this is what Marius has asked me to convey to you, and now you have it. There's a couple of chapters currently that you can go to if you go to Black Liquid Music on YouTube, and you will see some episodes that it's called War Peace, or /Peace, and there's episode 1 and 2. So check that out, and then you get to understand. I mean, and if you've got an imagination, if you love that type of thing, and you really can imagine that anything's possible, you understand that anything's possible. Because if you do, then that's who you need. That's who we need. You would love the journey. So please do me a favor. Go to Black Liquid Music on YouTube. Click on the War Peace videos, and then like and subscribe, right? And then as these gentlemen here, along with and I almost forgot. And my dear brother Sean from Dublin, one of Dublin's, if not Dublin's best songwriter ever. Not joking, like ever. He and his wife Pom are like are this artistic power couple from Dublin. They're like she just, I mean, brilliant. From theatre to TV, and I'm talking like proper, like syndicated, crazy, just an incredible group. Sean is like literally, to me, he's the best storyteller I know, best songwriter I know, and I've come across big people, but his songwriting, you'll never forget it. When you hear it once, you'll never forget it. It's incredible. So he's also joining the cast. So yeah, it's an international, star-studded cast of exceptional minds and voices, and that's where I land. Thank you.
Your species has become a long way since we left.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, that's good. I'm looking forward to working on that, and it's an honour to be asked, actually, given the nature of the potential cast that's involved in the project. So again, it's thank you very much, mate.
It's thank you. Like I said, all characters. If it's a character that completely resonates with you, or characters, because don't think you just have to have the one. I mean, if it's a character that resonates with you, that has a part of the story, and then that you can kind of cheekily, you can cheekily kind of like mirror current situation or impending situations, and then just take the journey, because we know where it goes. Just take the journey. I think we'll get, we'll get a nice response. We'll get a really good response.
For some reason I was presented with Carl doing the mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the highest man in the world?
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the biggest cunt of all?
Thanks. Love that. Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real.
I try to be nice, you know what I mean? But brother, he took it to the next level.
I'm sorry. Well, no. But look, it's not. First of all, it's not a child's comic, right? That's the first thing. It's not. It never was. It never was. Intellectual, yeah, it's done right. Done the right way, Judgmental, no. Just presenting an alternative reality.
I don't know. I reckon the watch is going to be a bit judgy.
Well, there you go. The watcher can be judgy. That's perfectly fine. From the point of the, that's the whole point. From the point of the, and that's the part. That's the lovely bit, because there's going to be definitely, I can see playing out a scenario like a tussle between. I could just do that, but no, I can see that perfectly playing. I can see that playing out nicely.
So, gents, how will we conclude? How will we gonna draw a conclusion to the discussion of that we started at the beginning?
So I was gonna say, guys, don't feel no way, man. Don't feel no way in the night, sneaking out of the bed, yeah. Walking round to your wife's side of the bed. Taking back your balls.
Own it.
Yeah. It's like, don't feel. No, seriously, gentlemen, listen. You know who you
Don't
are.
forget to take the makeup off before you go.
But gentlemen, you know who you are, right? You know who you are. You know the ones where your friends tell you that you're pussy whipped, or that that your wife's got your balls in a vice, and you know who you are, right? I talk to you guys. I'm talking to you at this moment, yeah, gentlemen. I'm talking to you. For those of you who do have your balls right are in your missus's handbag, yeah, and she grants you visiting rights every Thursday for like an hour. Yeah, here's what. Well, you have to go down the pub and swing it for a bit, yeah, but you got to get it back in time, yeah. Right? Here's what I want you to do, gentlemen, man. Here's what I want you to do. If you're looking for courage, if you're looking for the way to break out, you can hire the House of Lords. No, what I'm saying was...
Love that. I'm gonna rock up to that 18th.
Here's the thing. But gentlemen, what I'm really trying to say to you, gentlemen, is that you know who you are, yeah, and it's okay. Look, for whatever reason, that's how things turned up, and we're not making any judgment at all. We understand how it gets. We do. This is the West, the TV, the radio, the pressure. We get it. Give me your balls. You're not getting any. All right. We would get it, right? But gentlemen, what we're trying to say to you is this: the world needs men back. We need men. Yeah, men who are cool-headed, calm. But when the time comes, stand up for the rest. Stand up for the women. Stand up for the children. Yeah, that's it. Stand beside their other men brothers, you know what I mean? Stand beside, not against, not opposing, yeah? Side by side. Don't matter what you look like, right? You're man. If you got a ball sack and a tadge, yeah, that means you're a man. If you can grow hairs on your chest, no matter how small they are or how furry that you get, you're man. If you can grow beard on your chin, you're man. Well, unless you're from a particular descendancy, then no.
Well, I would say depends. The way you said that with the beard. Well,
okay. Let me put it this way. Okay. What I'm trying to say. Whoa. See, what did you do that for? Unimpeded. I'm not talking about hormone therapy, man. I'm talking about natural born. Yeah, thank you. Just don't even go there, bruv. No, we're talking about natural born.
Well, but we have to address it, so it's not being misunderstood.
Okay, but look,
No,
so let's address it. So listen, how are you going to address it, bruv? Because first of all, right, first of all, it doesn't matter how much testosterone you inject into somebody. If you're never born with a set of testicles, you're not going to know. Is that wrong for me to say, or what? Is something going to tell me? Carl. What's that sound like? Did what I say sound like a bunch of nonsense to you just then, or what?
No, not at all. Really, not at all.
Don't matter what somebody says.
Sorry, I just had to come out of another.
No, that's all good. That's all good.
I find it interesting that you said Carl. Did that sound like what?
No, not at all. Nothing. No, I'm sorry. It was the first name that came out. I was looking at your thing, mate. All right, Marius. Sorry, no, I didn't mean brothers.
Okay.
Brothers. Look, I'm not trying to knock anybody out. I just did. So what? Okay, both of you. Look, the questions. Look, I'm just throwing it in there, right? It's like because I don't want to be. I cannot allow or account for myself to be in a situation of uncertainty or tongue-tied about something that I clearly can. Look, I don't care whether you got lipstick on, you got a wig, if you got a tadge, right, and it's part of your body and you never sewed it on, you came with that. It doesn't matter what you think of yourself. It's if I take a drop of blood, right, and I tell somebody, who's that? They'll say male. Don't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. I'm sorry, but let's just be reality. The reality of it is this: your voice, your thought doesn't supersede what you are. What you are comes first. So when you draw a drop of blood and you look under it from the microscope and it gives you the chromosome situation, that's the end of it. Done. You can mask it off all you like. All you like. You can identify with whatever you like, and that's your choice. But the very end of the day is a drop of blood says it all.
You know, if there's one thing that I would like to add is just take your hands off the kids for fuck's sake. Let the kids grow and decide when they get all what the fuck they want to identify.
Fucking hell, Marius.
I'm serious.
Aspersions, mate. Fucking
I'm going there, right? Because this is one thing.
Yeah, but you got a good point.
One other thing that was
gets us all banned.
Yeah, that's okay. One other thing that it's come to mind which was interesting that a long time ago on that app called the Book of Faces.
What the fuck was that? What's that?
That's the Book of Faces. You can reverse it and then you know exactly which app I'm talking about. The Book of Faces.
Right. Yeah. So,
in that app there was a picture with the guy, happily satisfied in the bed, right, with the lady next to him, right, and then he turns he's like facing the right and sees a picture, right, with a man, and he's posing the question. He's like, "Who's that? Your brother?" And then the lady answers, "No, that was me when I was younger." So that's been painted for years on that Book of Faces to become something acceptable. You see what I'm going with?
Subtly try and just fluff that off without, and then when you turn around and say, "Hey, why you put that up there?" "No, man, it's not us, No, man, no, we just here. No, we just here. We don't do anything." No, why would we? We wouldn't need to confuse the masses, but
just say what it is. The world's a beautiful, messed up place, right? It's full of ovens.
Yeah, full of ovens.
Full of ovens.
Yeah.
Full of fucking ovens, right?
Yeah.
And that ovens is beyond measure to some people, right? And I don't give a fuck, right? And this goes out to all the listeners out there, right? I really don't give a fuck on how you've interpreted my words here tonight, because I accept that the moment they leave my mouth, they are no longer
yours.
I am no longer in control of the way they're going to be perceived, right?
Yeah.
And quite often the intention from which they were rooted is lost on imbeciles.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't care if you want to identify as Sarah or fucking whatever.
Twice a
right?
Rufus.
I don't care. But like Marius said, right, if you've got a cock and you walk into a girl's bathroom, right, I'm gonna walk in there and identify as a tooth fairy. Yeah? Just so we
I love
clear.
it. I love it.
I don't care what you do.
Oh, that's a fucking good one.
That's a good one, mate.
That's a good one.
Probably get about £4 out of it.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's brilliant one.
Yeah, it's good because you can get away with it. Who are you? I'm the tooth fairy. What the fuck? You know what I mean? I come to collect my.
Exactly. I mean, look, come on. I mean, is it really fair? Is it really fair for a lady to be in a spa with her daughter, a young daughter, enjoying a spa day, thinking that they're in like a haven. I don't know if anybody knows in London the place.
A retreat.
Yeah, like a retreat. Like there's a beautiful place called the Sanctuary that I used to drop my girlfriend off back in the days in the 90s when I lived in London with her. I would drop her off at the Sanctuary, man. It was a women's retreat. Men can't go in there. Men weren't in there. There's no men in there. No, none. No men working in there. Nothing. Just women in there chilling. Place was like paradise inside the place. Swings over the beautiful waters. They're just chilling in the inside. Sauna. Massage, all kind of stuff. Relaxation. Just proper nice place called Sanctuary. The Sanctuary. Beautiful spot. Dropped her off.
The name is a bit of a sanctuary. Anyway, but that's,
but you see now. So they felt safe, right? Now, could I even? I couldn't even begin to imagine what my girlfriend would have done if some bloke popped up through and just was like, "Oh yeah, I identify as a lady and I'm coming through." I think my girlfriend would have chinned him. My girlfriend would have said, "No, you cannot get off." And if he'd have protested, she would have chinned him. Said, "No, we're not having this. No, what's going on?" And the next thing you know, and it would have gone viral. Not viral. That would have been all over the news at that point. But you know what I mean, but the thing is that it would have been stood. It wouldn't have been stood for. The staff wouldn't even have let that person go through. You realise how that person got through must be because they weren't looking.
And then here comes Agent Smith, you see, and says, "You're transphobic.
Yeah, straight away.
Cancel you.
Straight away.
You've got something against chicks with dicks."
But then, what about the poor? What about the poor young, the 8-year-old girl and then there's her mum right there. They're having that day, and then this person comes walking past, and the Taj nearly pokes the little girl's eye out because it's swinging around that level. How's that?
That happened at the Olympics, didn't it? The swimming competition. This bloody swimming fucking cock and balls is in a woman's race, right? So there's a cock and balls in a woman's race, gives it that extra streamlined thing. And they all go into the shower afterwards, and there's Mrs. Cock and Balls, and all the other women are like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Like, it's like, I'm one of the girls, and they're all looking at them like, "Well, clearly you're fucking not." What's that? That looks like cock and balls to me. Why?
You mean her penis? You mean her penis?
Yeah, you nicked Darren's cock and balls, didn't you, Jackie? That's what you done. Right? And she stuck them on. It's crazy. It's a crazy world we're living in. But like I said, there's those at the top of the table, right, that are living their best life. Right? They got fucking cryo beds and fucking med beds.
Right.
And they're growing new fucking kidneys, right? And they're eating fucking salmon eggs off the back of kids, right? And nobody's doing a thing, right? And then you've got everything in between. You've got angels, beautiful, shining souls, beacons of light, right? Infused with love and compassion and wouldn't hurt a hair on a mouse's head. And the world needs people. Right? It really does. But why those beautiful people are there? Like I nearly say on every fucking episode, it seems like, right? There's the horror, right? There's Apocalypse Now, right? In the middle of the jungle. And he's there, rubbing his baldy head, reminding himself of the horror of what we do to one another. The horror. And then there's inflatables and candy floss and amusements. And fish and chips and curry goat and rice. Yeah. So everything's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, you see that as long as you've got the essentials, mate, don't worry about the rest of that madness, mate. Don't worry about where your money's, what you're doing with your money.
You missed the kebab, man. You missed the kebab.
And the kebabs.
Oh, kebabs. Oh, you know what? I haven't had a great London kebab since I don't know when. I mean, when was the last time I had a really good kebab? Like, I'm talking, there's this one in Tooting. When I used to come back from the club, from Tooting, man, and the amount of kebab, mate, they would fill it, like the pit of bread would just be overloaded, and then the hot sauce. And there you are walking home, mate, caning the kebab, caning it. That shit was heavy. But I used to eat a ton of food when I was younger, like a ton of food, a ton. So kebab, noshing the kebab at like 1 a.m, even though people say, "Oh, you eat that heavy food at night." Listen, man. If I didn't eat something like that heavy, I wouldn't have made it through the night. Dude, my stomach was like a furnace. It needed feeding every 2 hours, otherwise it just So yeah, I love the kebabs, man. Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. Well, Marius. So what's this? 166 minutes and 22 seconds of this here episode of episode 10. Are we in double figures, gentlemen?
We are in episode 10. Yes, we are in episode 10. Yeah, this
double figures.
celebration.
Double
It's a
figures,
celebration.
celebration.
Let's celebrate that. We should celebrate. That's an episode 10, man. That's a good thing, man. Look, we've continued on. You know, we're continuing on, right? You know, so you know, if you've listened to everything, this. Oh, you know what? Here's what. This one goes out to Sandy. Sandy listens to every single episode, and as we know that she's definitely our best follower, so we're going to say special love goes out to Sandy. Thank you for being our dedicated listener.
Oh, thank
Love
you,
and light to you, Sandy. Right? Yeah. See that? Special. Hope you feel special. Yeah. Good. Right.
Our number one.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I must admit, if she's listening, right, Sandy, I really appreciate the posts you sent me. You sent me some lovely posts, heartfelt, you know, warm, welcoming. She sent me one the other day about soul tribes, which was very nice. It was very beautiful.
Yeah.
And I want to say I appreciate that kind of stuff, Sandy. You know, I know I'm not very talkative in the old sort like message things. I like to talk and hear people. So I don't really do the texts or the messages through social media, etc. Right, but rest assured, I hear and receive and appreciate all that you do. Love and light to you.
I must confess, Carl, like you, when it comes to messaging, I'm not too much into messaging. But I want to say thank you to Sunday, not just for listening, but same as you said, Carl, for the messages that she sends us. So thank you, Sunday.
And I must third thanking from the Three Amigos, because she calls us the Three Amigos.
Yeah, the Three Amigos.
Sandy, here's one from the Three Amigos. If you know how to do a screen grab or screen record, feel free to get any snippets that you like, put them in a little social post and with a little link to where they can hear the full episode. You're more than welcome to do that. You have my permission to use my voice to do some social media posts if you want to grab some of the episodes, because we know we can't post a 2-hour episode on the social media platforms.
Yeah,
same here.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this here episode of the House of Lords right here on podcast, our beautiful little podcast. You know, I hope you're enjoying it, and it fulfills you and triggers you and sometimes upsets you and then comforts you with a warm hug after we've slapped you with a bit of reality. You know, we don't mean anything that we say, but we do, but we don't, but we do. You know? We do love you. We do appreciate you. And yes, rest assured, you know, we're still to hear from some of you beautiful listeners. I know we hear from Sandy. She bigs us up on other platforms, which is fabulous. Mm-hmm. But if you are listening and you are one of those silent listeners, drop us a little message. Give us a little like on one of the platforms and let us know where you heard us. You know, that'd be really handy. Where you're hearing us. Are you hearing us on the app that we're recording it now? Or are you picking us up on YouTube? Are you picking us up on Spotify or Amazon Music? We'd love to hear from you.
Indeed. So, until we convene again.
I think that's a fabulous segue, isn't it, to end it all?
Yes.
Right now. Yes. I think we should call this episode. I think this was call this episode "Be the Change That You Wish to See." There's Daddy in a Gimp Mask.
Be the change you wish to see.
There's Daddy in a Gimp Mask.
Wait, you didn't hear the first time?
Brilliant. Yeah. Be the change you want to see. There's Daddy in a Gimp Mask.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
If it goes up,
that's great.
If I put it up there, we have just done a sort of like, we've just done an off-road. We've just gone from. We've just done an off-road podcast. Daddy in a Gimp Mask.
But it's a celebratory double figures episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uncut.
Yes, indeed. Most definitely, and for sure, we should do. Yes, okay. Be the change you want to see. And in a Gimp Mask.
Well, this is our wonderful Carl, you know. Love him,
dear.
hate him, love him to hate him to love, but he is the brilliant one.
Laughter is good to me. Laughter is brilliant, you see. So if there's anything that makes me laugh like that, it's all good.
And I want to say for the haters out there, you know, we love you. You know, we love you
Of
too.
course we do. We love you too, mate. That's why we do it. That's why we do it. So you can hate us as well. So for those of you who love to, we do this so that you guys are happy too. So you guys can be happily hating us.
You guys can happily have something to moan about.
There you go. There you go. Have a few beers, a few warm beers. You know what I mean?
Send us a nasty tweet or something, you know, brighten up your afternoon.
Be nice, guys. Be nice.
What? What he was?
We were being nice. I was.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Safe space.
It was. We've been lovely. Been lovely, mate. You know, right? We're always nice. What? When are we never nice? We're always nice. Always.
Well, I'll tell you when we are not nice.
When is that?
Well, that depends on how people perceive us.
Really?
Someone
Really?
that they perceive us like we're not nice, you know, because we are being straightforward. So
We're opinionated and bigoted.
Here's the thing. Yeah, opinion and biggest. Here's the thing. I've got a couple of real quick, guys. So I got something comes up now. Sorry, Marius. I know. Yeah, I know. Sue me. Yeah, my people will talk to Marius's people. They said I was allowed to use it once.
man.
They said I was allowed to use it once. I used it once. That's it. Nobody's suing me. Thank you. Copyright.
No, we can share it. With the family.
Marius. No, bro. You see, no. When you coin a frame, what comes up, you own it. As an artist, you own it. It's yours. You don't fucking share that shit. You make all the money on it. Do you understand? Thank you.
No,
okay.
I do share it. I do share it.
Carl, remind him where he is. Yeah.
Doggy dog world, man.
Exactly. Tell him.
You know, you'll have fucking George Soros bending you over, going, "What comes up? What comes up, buddy? I told you, I'll own it."
Yeah, he's gonna probably play hit the pinboard with Carl too. You know what I mean? But that's another one.
Yeah, he could try pinning his tail on this donkey. He'd get kicked in the nuts.
And there is no tip of the day coming from over here, mate. So you can fucking forget that.
Oh, well, he may be asking him for some tips. You know what I mean?
Nah, no tip of the day coming from over here. Bro.
Okay, so what were you going to say, Carl? Yeah, sorry, because I interrupted.
What was I going to say?
Yeah, you say what comes up, and then you started to say what.
Oh, well, what did you say? You said something, and that's
well, how people perceive us. That's what I said. It depends. And Carl mentioned about being opinionated and all that. So you were coming up with something.
Yeah, well, you know, it was like, look, I mean, you know, it was because it was because I was responding him. I kind of responded him with what you were saying. But it was literally about, but so what? Isn't it up to? Isn't it down to them? Isn't the disclaimer that, well, if you get triggered or you get mashed up and you don't do the work as you walk through the door, oh well, nothing we can do.
No, you've confused them already, Yanni, by saying, is it up to them or down to them? You know, I mean, they're going to be
them is another pronoun in today's world. I don't know.
Exactly.
Them and they.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So if you, all right, okay, no. You see, you almost did it. See, Marius, you almost had me say something, but I caught myself.
Well,
come on, say it.
I caught myself. Fuck that. No, I'm not saying shit. No, I caught myself.
I'm presuming, but he was going to restructure his words for the sensitivities of Agent Smith.
Thank you. Exactly that. But I just no, there's nothing sensitive. There's nothing to restructure because no. Got to get. Look, it's like it's got things like this in videos. People got to start smoking joints. Normalize that shit, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like because there's nothing wrong with it. That's not bad, right? What's wrong are the GMO products that we're getting as a result of it. GMO cannabis, GMO. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. But that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, then we'll do it on our next live and see how long we last.
How long we last with what?
Before they shut it off.
Oh, no, I'm not. Well, could do an experiment. Nah.
We
could do an experiment. We could do an experiment. We could. We could sort of like set it up.
Good.
We could set it up. So that the resulting, we could set it up so that then the resulting, we could set it up and then we could say, give ourselves however long we want to give ourselves. So we get the meat and potatoes of the live up. And then if we say, okay, we'll do it like an hour and 20 minutes in, or what, I don't even know how long the fucking thing lasts, all right? So we'll do it in an hour in. And then, so then an hour in, we'll start to ease in and see what happens. But we'd have already set everybody up in the first place, knowing that, if we choose to go down this road today, then we're going to see what happens. It'll be indicative and demonstrate a.
I like what you're doing there. Yeah. Social experiment.
There you go. B, blah blah blah. C,
and then
blah, blah,
and then what you can do, right? Then we could do a social media post and say, is it really entertainment or is it social conditioning? Because I can put this meme up, right, of this chick from Pulp Fiction smoking a fag, right, and kids can share it and everything else. But if I sit there as a perceived non-celebrity and smoke a fag, you cancel my life.
Right.
So it's not. It's conditioning, not entertainment.
There you go. So again, perfect experimental time. Great opportunity, gentlemen. Love it.
Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I dare say that concludes this here episode number 10 of the House of Lords, right here on Podcasters, Spotify, and Amazon Music. You can also check us out on YouTube if you so see it fit. If not, fine.
The way you said it. If not, fine.
If not, so Jack. As we like
that
to
was
say.
That was a perfect opportunity to just press stop there.
I know. But anyway, thank you all, and bid you all goodbye or good riddance or see you later.
Iane, see us out, mate.
It's coffee.
Okay. Thank you, ladies and
Shall we
gentlemen.
have an after show party? Shall we pop over to the house?
Let's do that.
Okay, ladies and gents, if you want to continue our conversation, you can't because you're watching this about a week later.